79945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins'. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Play ball! Haymarket Park is buzzing with excitement this summer. Grab your crew and get in on the fun. Be sure to catch all the daily specials and promotions this season, like Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, Souvenir Saturday, Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts all summer long. Don't miss out on the action as the Lincoln Salt Dogs take on their biggest rivals and knock the ball out of the park. Visit saltdogs.com and see this week's promotions and grab your tickets.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it, and choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK, make flying easy.
Memorial Day is coming up quickly, and you know what that means. Grilling season. You know what's more embarrassing than an overcooked piece of meat? A dirty, disgusting, and grimy grill. Let the pros at Husker Grill Cleaning get you ready for grilling season. They'll take your grill apart piece by piece, scrub every inch, and reassemble it so your grill can look and perform its best. Visit their website at huskergrillcleaning.com today to schedule your appointment. Husker Grill Cleaning, serving Lincoln, Omaha, Malcolm, and more.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to The Mercado today for the best meat in town.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Welcome to the 2025 NSAA State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. State baseball broadcasts are powered by Game Day Men's Health, Max Tan, Doane University, Raising Canes, and the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Now, calling all the action, here's Nick Sainert.
Finally, on day 5 of the 2025 State Baseball Tournament, we have a little bit of sunshine here at Warner Park. Nick Sainert coming at you on a Wednesday morning that is now classified as semifinal Wednesday morning, as we have 2 elimination games for sure for one of the teams on hand, potentially with some, if necessary, games later on this afternoon. It could turn into a total of 4 games here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert with you from Warner Park. Austin Norman will join me shortly in the middle of this one, as this game is going to be really, really exciting. It's the Lincoln East Spartans going up against the Millard South Patriots. Lincoln East trying to win here today and reach their 3rd consecutive state championship game. They won it 2 years ago. They lost it to Millard West in 2024, and here in 2025 trying to get back to the state title game on Friday. For the Millard South Patriots, they had to defeat the Millard West Wildcats yesterday in an elimination matchup. They're trying to get back to the state championship game for the first time since 2022. And starting on the mound in the Millard South Patriots way, it's going to be number 15, Santino Aranaga, who's been lights out this year. A 5-1 record on the year with a 0.47 earned run average, less than a half a run allowed per appearance for Santino Aranaga. But this Mount Millard South lineup, really talented, 1 through 9. We mentioned it 2 days ago when we saw Millard South. The 1 through 6 in the lineup went a combined 1 for 16 at the plate, but hitters 7 through 9 kind of picked up their weight, and they went 6 for 7 at the plate 2 days ago. Yesterday, we saw big performances from guys like Will Thomas, Jackson Apin, Braden Swaney, and Carson Durr. For the Spartans, though, their lineup is as deep as they come, and Coach Michael Lannick says that's the biggest strength of this team. It's the depth of their lineup when the Spartans are in the box. The Spartans defensively have a team ERA of 1.61 on the mound. That's lights out, just a little over a run and a half allowed as a team per game this season. And then offensively, they have a team batting average of .317 here in the 2025 campaign. And so backing up a really strong pitcher in Santino Aranaga is a defense that does the same. A .950 fielding percentage throughout the entire regular season and postseason. Lincoln East has had a day off to rest because they are 2-0. They only need to win 1 game against Millard South to advance to the state championship. Millard South needs to defeat the Spartans twice, and we are underway. The left-hander Aranaga delivers a first pitch strike to Will Thomas. It is a 10:02 first pitch start time here at Warner Park, 53 degrees with the wind blowing slightly out to right field again here today, as the 1-0 offering is upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike, nobody out. First batter of the game for Millard South as the sun creeps in from the right side of Warner Park straight into our eyes up here in the press box. The 1-1 offering is swung at and missed by Will Thomas, the Millard South center fielder, here for a 1 ball, 2 strike count. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out top of the first inning. Will Thomas, the lefty-lefty matchup here. Breaking ball, going to be chopped right side. Kalai Larson lets it bounce. He tells his pitcher to hold off and stay closer to the pitcher's mound. He'll just run it over there to first on his own for the 3 unassisted, out number 1. Lining up, Santino Aranaga. Behind the plate is Jeter Worthley. Worthley, the future Husker. Another start for him, over 123 now in his career as a Spartan, as he is able to stay strong with that glove side to Brady Purich, and it's a 0-1 count after a breaking ball finds the outside corner. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Brady Parrish is the hitter for Millard South as he watches a fastball just outside 1-1. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out here to Brady Parrish, the left fielder for Millard South. Swung on and missed. It's 1-2 as Aranaga was able to rear back and fire that fastball in there for a strike down Broadway. Aranaga comes set, breaking ball, fouled off left side over our shoulder, and it will be a 1-2 strike count once again. So we saw Kalai Larson, who's getting the start at first base today for Lincoln East. He pitched on Friday. Jack Oler threw on Monday for the Spartans. Here's Aranaga here today as he delivers a 1-2 pitch upstairs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out in the top of the first inning. Aranaga will come set. He pitches out of the stretch with nobody on base. The 2-2 pitch, fastball just a tad outside, and it's 3-2. Good crowd on hand for a Wednesday. We expect more of the same on Friday. Tomorrow is a designated off day, and so we will have regularly scheduled programming on the ticket all day long as the 3-2 pitch is outside, and Brady Parrish works the 1-out walk as Aranaga issues his first free pass. So now stepping into the box, it's a guy who's struggled this week at the state tournament, Jackson Apin. He's committed a couple of errors in the field defensively, but has been fine at the plate. He hits third in this Millard South lineup. From the right side, it's Jackson Apin, the hitter. The lefty, Aranaga, delivers. Inside 1-0 to Jackson Apin. Apin, one of the many guys on this Millard South team that played as a sophomore when Millard South reached the state tournament last year. Millard South got it to the semifinals last year, just fell 1 step short as Apin fouls the 1-0 fastball off to the right side. Will even it up at 1 ball, 1 strike. That was the commentary on Millard South last year, was that this was a team that featured a lot of sophomores and juniors, and if they can keep their core together, it's going to be a team that causes a ruckus in May here in 2025, and that's been exactly what's happened. The 1-1 pitch, it's going to be a quick pick over to first base. Back in plenty of time was Parrish. However, Millard South did lose Brody Gindra to what we would, I guess, classify and categorize as the transfer portal. He now plays for Elkhorn South, who we'll see later this afternoon, as this 1-0 breaking ball is going to be fouled off left side of the Lincoln East dugout, 1-2. One ball, 2 strike, 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Millard South up to the plate for the first time. Lincoln East, the designated home team, since they are the number 1 seed. Pick over to first base is back in time as Parrish. We mentioned it yesterday, and I see we're getting a couple of texts about it today. The birds are active here at Warner Park. You can hear it on our microphone. Those are real. I can promise you they are not artificially generated birds in the backgrounds. They are real. There's a nest that is a couple of feet to our left hanging off of the press box. But here's the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. Swung on, fouled off again, and we'll do it again at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jackson Apin doing a good job staying alive here. Millard South led by head coach Greg Geary, while the Spartans led by Michael Lanick. Lanick previously an assistant at Creighton Prep before taking the head coaching job a few years ago at Lincoln East. The lefty Aranaga delivers on the 1-2 pitch upstairs, 2-2. It's a nice morning for baseball. Maybe a tad windy, as we are around 13 to 15 miles per hour of wind. That's where we're at, though, all week long. And so these guys should know how to dictate and judge the ball, especially in the outfield here by now on day 5 of the tournament. We started on Friday, had games Friday, Saturday, here on Monday, Tuesday, and then now Wednesday. Took Sunday off. We'll take tomorrow off. Here's the pitch on 2-2. Just a tad outside again. Aranaga dancing around that strike zone, and Jackson Apin has worked a full count here. This will be pitch number 9 of the at-bat to the Millard South third baseman. I mentioned it, Arenaga allows less than half of a run per game. A .47 earned run average. As this fastball, soft chopper, left side, going to be a tough play for Harms. He bobbles it at third base. It'll be an infield hit for Jackson Apin. And after all that work for Arenaga on the mound, Jackson Apin reaches on an infield single. They are going to rule it a hit. I think that's the correct call. And moving up to second base is Brady Parrish. And now Millard South here in the top of the first inning has gotten 2 runners aboard with 1 out. And that'll bring up the left-handed hitter, Braden Swaney. Swaney, the sophomore, came into the state tournament hitting close to 400 on the campaign. Has 42 runs driven in and 4 long balls. The wind blowing out to right field for the left-handed hitter, Swaney. Runner in scoring position and a runner at first base. As the breaking ball low and away for a ball 1-0. Despite Lincoln East reaching the state championship game the last 2 years, it hasn't been the easiest of roads. They had a little bit of a scare in the opening round last year. They walked off this Millard South team on Monday 3-2, and now here today they got to go through the Patriots again. The 1-0 pitch, low and away again, 2-0, and Arenaga is very concerned with Parrish at second base. Senstock gives Arenaga the sign. He wiped his right leg, and we'll see if they call a pickoff play here on 2-0. Parrish, a fairly routine lead at second base. No pickoff. The 2-0 pitch, upstairs, ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes, 1 out in the top of the first inning. Santino Arenaga in danger of loading the bases if he throws one more ball to the cleanup hitter, Braden Swaney. Here's the 3-0. Inside, and they're loaded. And so now, after a 1-out walk, a 1-out single, and now another 1-out walk, the bases are loaded. And head coach Michael Lanick is going to go out and talk to Santino Arenaga, his junior lefty. So while we have a stoppage in play, just a reminder on the schedule, as Millard South will have to defeat Lincoln East 2 times today to reach the state championship game on Friday. Lincoln East needs to win just once in order to reach Friday's title matchup. In our second matchup of the day, it'll be the Millard North Mustangs and the Elkhorn South Storm. Millard North is in the same position that Lincoln East is in, where they will need to win just 1 game, while Elkhorn South will need to win 2 against the Millard North Mustangs. And I think a big conversation piece here as we enter day 5, and the clear-cut advantage that the 2-0 teams have over the teams that are 2-1 is pitching depth, bullpen depth. Who's available? Pitch counts certainly play a factor. That's why it's so important to make sure you manage it correctly on Friday, Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday. But here out of the conference, the bases are loaded for Carson Durr, the Millard South catcher. The first pitch to Durr. Swung on, hammered right side, but foul. Certainly a dangerous hitter in Carson Durr. Durr going to go to Omaha and be a Maverick to play baseball. Here's the pitch to Durr. Breaking ball swung on, hit well out to second baseman, but under it is the second baseman McIntyre for the Lincoln East Spartans, and McIntyre is able to catch a line drive off the bat of Carson Durr for out number 2. So now Santino Arenaga 1 out, 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning unscathed and leaving 3 Patriots runners out on the base paths. Bases are loaded for Noah Carroll, the pitcher for Millard South today, as he takes strike 1 over the heart of the plate, 0-1. Carroll for the Millard South Patriots, a .350 hitter from the right side. Facing the lefty, Arenaga. The 0-1 offer in on the way. Breaking ball, swung on and missed. 0-2, and now Santino Arenaga is 1 pitch away from getting out of this jam. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the top of the first inning. 3 Millard South Patriots are on the base paths. The bases are loaded here. Still have yet to get a run across the plate. Arenaga comes set from the stretch. The 0-2 pitch. Down the middle, called strike 3. Noah Carroll leaves the bat on his shoulder, and we go to the bottom of the first inning as Santino Arenaga allowed 3 Patriots to reach with 1 out. He gets a line drive out to second base, and then he gets the opposing pitcher down on strikes to end the top half of the first inning. We go to the bottom half of the first. Lincoln East will send the top of their lineup. It's Peltz, Worthley, and Senstock due up right after this on 93.7 The Ticket.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor. Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home. And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together. And then it clicked.
Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Discovering your life's passion is easier with options, and that's what Doane offers students. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes you different. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
So in the top of the first inning, Millard South leaves the bases loaded. They had them loaded with 1 out in the top of the first inning. Then they go out number 2 on a line drive to the second baseman, and then Noah Carroll goes down looking for out number 3. Now Noah Carroll will turn and step and toe the rubber up on the mound for Millard South. Carroll on the year, a 2-2 record, a 2.69 earned run average, and he's going to be facing a very scary and talented Lincoln East Spartans lineup. Nick Sainert, Austin Orman alongside. Good morning, Austin. As Lincoln East steps into the box, what do you like about this lineup?
Everything, top to bottom. One of the deepest in the state. It's the same lineup we've seen all state tournament here for Lincoln East. And then for Millard South, same defensive alignment as well. 2 teams familiar with one another, and that's what you like here at the end of the year. Sometimes you can get by on talent, but you get 2 teams that are pretty evenly matched, their own strengths, their own weaknesses, that know each other. Then you get into the mental aspects and the mind games of baseball, and that's where you can see the talent on the field take that next step.
So stepping into the box, it'll be Troy Peltz. Peltz on the year has 12 extra base hits, 26 runs driven in. He's going to be playing college ball not far from here at Iowa Western Community College for the Reavers. Here's the first pitch from Carroll. Outside, ball 1. Troy Peltz, along with a lot of these Spartans runners, menaces on the base paths. Peltz hits from the left side, facing the right-handed pitcher, Noah Carroll. The pitch on 1-0 is blown away for a ball 2-0 here early on to Troy Peltz.
If you're Noah Carroll, don't get yourself into trouble the same way that Arenaga did in the first. You got to go at it. Even though it's a talented lineup, you still got to be in attack mode.
2 balls, no strikes. Here's the pitch to Peltz. Swung on, fouled back to the net, and it's 2 balls, 1 strike. Good approach there at the plate. Looking 2-0 fastball by Troy Peltz, and he was right on it, just a little under it, and fouled it back to the netting. 2 balls, 1 strike, nobody out. Bottom of the first inning after Millard South left the bases loaded in the top half of the frame. The 2-1 offering from Carroll is on the outer part of the zone. It clipped it 2-2.
Peltz didn't like it, but if that's going to be there, I'd expect Carroll to live there all day.
2 balls, 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter for Lincoln East, Troy Peltz. The offering from Carroll. This one swung on, hit well to right field, back over the wall, and Troy Peltz gets the bottom of the first going with fireworks as he hammers a 2-2 offering over the right field wall. And Lincoln East has a 1-0 lead as Peltz rounds third base, high-fives his coach, and taps the helmet of Jeter Worthley as he crosses home plate.
Deservedly fired up, firing up the student section and the parent section down that third base line. We saw a home run in last night's nightcap from Eamon O'Gorman. That one was even further gone off the bat and maybe a little less help from the wind. That was a rocket off the bat of Troy Peltz.
So Troy Peltz gets the scoring going early here as Lincoln East leads it 1-0 on a leadoff home run in the bottom of the first inning by Troy Peltz. He hammered that over the right field wall. And now Noah Carroll's got to settle back in because Jeter Worthley's going to drop down a bunt down the third baseline. It's a good one, and it's an error at the third baseman by Jackson Apin as it went under his hand. They're going to rule it a hit, which is the right call. I misspoke. It was a hit, not an error. Austin, this is something that a lot of guys at this age don't know, is that the best time to drop down a bunt is the pitch or the batter after a home run. Jeter Worley did it perfectly there on a drag bunt down the third base line.
That's the mental part of things. Knowing that Noah Carroll wants to come back in the strike zone. Worthley got a really good pitch to bunt. Bunted it pretty difficult, but what did he do, Nick? He texted Apin, who still hasn't had a good week defensively over there at third.
Here's the pitch now to Joey Senstock, the future Husker. Spartans have when you look at their lineup, and once again, Michael Lanik said the biggest strength of this team is the depth of their lineup. When you can start off with an Iowa Western commit, continue with back-to-back Husker commits, and then follow that up with a South Dakota State Jackrabbit, you got a pretty dangerous start here in the bottom of the first inning. The 1-1 is the count here to Joey Senstock. Senstock, the everyday shortstop for the Lincoln East Spartans, as Worthley, a catcher who runs really well, is leading off of first base. The 1-1 offering. Carroll gets Senstock to swing and miss. It was a half-hearted cut, 1-2.
For Lincoln East, Nick, they survived the top of the first inning. To come back and get any run at all in the top of the first is a great response to shift momentum clearly to that side of things. But to make it a home run and then get the second hitter on as well, Lincoln East in control early.
Here's the 1-2. We'll see if Worthy's on the move. He is not, as the 1-2 offering is a breaking ball. It clips the outside part of the plate. A great response by Noah Carroll on the mound as he gets Joey Senstock down with a backwards K for out number 1.
Heavy diet of fastballs, but finished him with the breaker.
A nice job by Noah Carroll. We'll see if he can settle back in now after allowing the leadoff home run to Troy Peltz and then a infield single to Jeter Worthley. Here comes Carter Harms. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. And it's 0-1. Carter Harms on the year, a .312 hitter, has 2 long balls, 28 runs driven in to go with 9 doubles on the campaign. The 0-1 offering, before we have that, it's going to be a quick pick over to first base. To expand on our thought and the point that I made about the bunt after the home run, what you'll realize about the infielders is they play even or behind the bag. They're kind of lackadaisical. Everybody's kind of down in the dumps. You catch them by surprise after a home run, and something like a bunt can certainly energize your dugout, but when you can do it successfully, Jackson Apin was 2 feet, 2 steps behind the third base bag. It doesn't even have to be a perfect bunt. It's more about direction, get it far enough away from the pitcher, and Jeter Worthy was going to be able to run that one out.
Right-handed pitcher's falling off to the first base side anyways.
The 1-1 pitch to Harms is fouled off to the right side, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Really like the approaches so far from Lincoln East. Outside of Senstock, who watched that one for strike 3, they've done a good job hunting fastballs and hitter counts.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. Lincoln East leads 1-0. After the leadoff home run by Troy Peltz, Jeter Worthley with an aggressive leadoff first base. And here's the 1-2. Fouled off again. Good fight by Carter Harms. We'll do it again at 1 ball, 2 strikes.
A little surprised we haven't seen Jeter Worthley in motion yet, but that's a lot of respect for the arm and especially the pop time of Carson Durr, who's thrown out a couple runners at second base here in this tournament.
1-0 your score, 1 run so far on 2 hits. Jeter Worthley leads off of first base. Carroll comes set out of the stretch, takes a breath, and lifts the leg and fires. It's low in the dirt, gets away from the catcher Durr, and Jeter Worthy with a great ball and dirt read as he swipes second base without a throw from the catcher Durr. And now Jeter Worthy is in scoring position for 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the Spartan lineup. So Worthy advances on the wild pitch, and Noah Carroll has a 2-2 count to Carter Harms, the Lincoln East third baseman. The 2-2 offering from Carroll. This one ripped up the middle. It's through for a base hit. Rounding third, being waved home is Jeter Worthley. He will score standing up, and it's a one-out RBI single on a 2-2 fastball up the middle for Carter Harms as Lincoln East leads 2-0.
Good piece of two-strike hitting. Shot that one right back up the box where it came from. Worthley had to freeze. McAndrews had a chance to get a glove on it, but it was hit too hard by Harms. Worthley, plenty of speed to score from second base despite the necessary hesitation.
Jeter Worthley able to score on that base hit because of the wild pitch on the pitch before. And so now it's a 2-0 Lincoln East lead in the bottom of the first inning with Carter Harms leading off first. It's Kalai Larson stepping into the box. The right-handed hitter shows bunt, drops a drag down the third base side. This is another beauty. There will be no play at first base, and Lincoln East is having some fun here in the bottom of the first inning as they get another bunt single, and now runners will be at first and second base for Carter McPeak, the Lincoln East right fielder.
That's a sign of a confident team there, Nick, especially a confident hitter in Kalai Larson. How many teams have we seen had to square early in that situation? Makes you wonder if that was a called bunt and Larson is just that confident in his ability to get it down, or if, again, he wanted to test that left side of the infield, whether it's the pitcher, Apin charging, or Carson Durr's reflexes to get out of his stance and go secure that one. It was Carroll that got to it first. Larson fast enough to turn that sacrifice bunt attempt into a bunt that looked like a bunt for a hit.
So a great start to the bottom of the first inning, and this can all be rooted by Lincoln East being able to get out of a bases-loaded one-out jam in the top half of the first. Millard South had a runner occupying each bag in the top of the first inning with just one out. The next two Millard South guys went down in order, and Millard South had to exit the top of the first with a goose egg next to their name on the scoreboard. Now Lincoln East, after a leadoff home run by Troy Peltz, Jeter Worthley gets on base. He advances to second on a wild pitch, and he scores on the RBI single from Carter Harms after now Kalai Larson gets a bunt single down the third base line. So runners are at first and second base for Carter McPeak. McPeak, the right fielder for the Spartans today. Noah Carroll comes set, checks the runner at second, fires in a fastball, swung on and missed by McPeak, 0-1.
That one's letter high. Not sure there's much McPeak's going to be able to do with it, but at the very least, he's hunting fastball, knowing that Carroll needs to find a way to hop back ahead in the count.
No balls, one strike here to Carter McPeak. Noah Carroll comes set at the chest. He checks the runner twice, checks him a third time at second. That runner is Carter Harms. Here's the pitch. Down Broadway, 0-2. Two fastballs to start the at-bat to Carter McPeak, as McPeak takes a little bit of a longer time in between the pitches as he steps towards the grass, looks at the wristband, and then steps back into the right-handed batter's box. As Noah Carroll toes the rubber here at Warner Park with the wind blowing out to right field. Runners on first and second, Carroll with the 0-2 advantage. Here's the pitch, swung on, foul chopper right side, and we'll do it again at 0-2.
If you are McPeak here, Nick, you can still have a productive at-bat, right? You've put up 4 hits on the inning. If you're Lincoln East, still only one away. If you are McPeak, obviously you want to keep the hit parade going. But if you're able to get a ball to the right side on the ground, if you're able to hit a fly ball in the air deep enough to move the runners up 90 feet, that's still doing a job.
No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch to Carter McPeak. Just a tad outside on that breaking ball. It's going to be also in the dirt a little bit, so it's going to be 1 ball, 2 strikes. Clouds moving through here at Warner Park. No rain so far this week, which has been really nice to avoid. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out in the top of the, bottom of the first. Lincoln East has 2 runs in the inning. A soft chopper to the shortstop. He flips it over to second, and an errant throw as the not even a 5-foot flip. Yeah, he should have just taken himself. McAndrew at shortstop fielded it cleanly. The second baseman, Wick, was covering. McAndrew should have just taken it himself to second base. Instead, he tried to flick it to Logan Wick, and it went to the right side of Wick, out of the range of the second baseman, and everybody is safe on the air by the Millard South shortstop.
He didn't even really throw it behind Wick. He just led him too far toward the center field side of the bat. I'm with you. I thought McAndrews could have taken that one himself to try to start a 6-3 double play.
So now Brody McIntyre steps into the box. The bases are loaded as McIntyre takes ball 1-0. And that's one of those things that if you're Millard South head coach Greg Geary, you can't fault your pitcher. You got a ground ball that had a double play chance, and your pitcher, Noah Carroll, did everything he needed to do there. However, shortstop didn't help him out. The 1-0 offering to Brody McIntyre. The pitch swung on, soft chopper, shortstop comes on. He tries to flick it over to second base, and McAndrew commits another error. He did not charge that ground ball. He let it come to him. It was hit very softly. The grass here at Warner Park simmered it down even a little bit more. And now that is back-to-back ground balls where Millard South should have been out of the inning. But instead, with one out still in the bottom of the first, Lincoln East extends their lead to 3-0, and they still have the bases loaded.
That's going to go down as a hit and a mental error by McAndrews. Like you said, the biggest sin he committed there was not charging it. That's when you want to get a lead-ish runner at second base, but McAndrews got to charge and take that one to first to get any out.
So now Lewis Cockle steps into the box. Cockle, the left fielder, hits from the right side. The first pitch, the at-bat, hits the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. Some mental lapses and errors here by Millard South in the bottom of the first inning. You wonder how much leaving the bases loaded in the top half of the first has the effect on them. But Lincoln East is up 3-0 here in the bottom of the first, and they're not done yet. Here's the pitch. Down Broadway, 0-2. I was surprised to see McAndrew go to second base on that play anyway. It took too long for that ball to get to him. His only play was going to be at first. Some head-scratcher plays on back-to-back hits. As this one fouled off to the right, you could hear it hit the press box to our side, and it'll be no balls, 2 strikes once again.
And that's a sophomore, Nick, playing in his first state tournament, I believe, because the guy he was behind last year, Brody Gindra, had shortstop locked down for Millard South. Managing the moment is a huge deal here.
No balls, 2 strikes, 3-0, Spartans lead. Here's the pitch. Up and away, ball 1. You cannot dilly-dally if you are Noah Carroll on the mound here. Pitch count is rising rapidly, and you have nowhere to put this hitter at the plate, Lewis Cockle. Here's the pitch from Carroll. On 1 ball, 2 strikes to Lewis Cockle. Outside, ball 2.
Really good at bat here by Cockle. Got down 0-2, fouled one off. Now he's seen a couple. Next pitch will be number 29 for Carroll in the first inning.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Here's the 2-2 offering from Carroll. This one swung on, lined out to right field. The wind's going to keep pushing this back, and it's over the head of the right fielder. 1 run will score for the Spartans, waving him around third, chugging to the plate, and Spartans add 2 more runs at the bottom of the 5th inning as it's a 1-out RBI double for Lewis Cockle to right field. Scoring on the play was Kalai Larson and Carter McPeak, and the Spartans add 2 more here as they now lead 5-0.
Didn't think that ball was hit that well off the bat, but the wind pushed it. Swaney over there in right field also thought the same thing. He thought that was a routine pop fly that was going to turn into a sacrifice fly. That ball just kept carrying over Swaney's head, took a bit of a banana route to get it as well. So the damage being done by the top of the lineup and now by the bottom of the lineup.
So now the 9-hole hitter in the Spartans lineup comes to bat here in the bottom of the first. It is 5-0 Lincoln East. Tanner Peterson, the designated hitter, steps into the right-handed batter's box. With runners on second and third. Here's the pitch from Carroll. Inside, ball 1. Carroll staring down the runner at third base, Brody McIntyre, as he dances back and forth. You're not going to pick Brody McIntyre off over at third base. Worry about the guy that's 60 feet, 6 inches away from you. Here's the pitch. Foul ball, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
And at this point, Nick, the fact that turned into a double by Cockle, there's not a force at every base. For Millard South, if you're Carroll, you're trying to get a strikeout here so you can get the easy one across the base to first. But here's the other thing. You're already down 5-0. Yes, every run makes it a bigger mountain to climb, but you just got to get an out anyway.
5-0 is your score, as Austin just said, here in the bottom of the first inning. Here's the pitch from Carroll. Breaking ball, outside corner, strike two. And Carroll has induced 2 ground balls that have resulted in allowing Spartan runners to get on base. An error, a physical error on the scorebook by the shortstop, and then a mental error by the shortstop on the very next play. Now with 2 strikes, they're going to bring the infielders in on the cut. That'll allow the runner at second base to get halfway to third. And that's a surprising, I'm surprised that they're doing this. Now, I get that they want to cut down the runner at home. However, on a base hit, instead of having to go 180 feet, you have to go, essentially 130 feet to score that runner from second base. That's much easier to get your 6th and 7th run across as Tanner Peterson takes ball 3 outside, 3-2.
And that's the risk that Millard South feels like it has to run right now, Nick. Already down 5-0. They want to do everything they can to keep this right here. If it comes back and burns them with the ball that reaches the outfield grass, at this point, they just need an out, and they need to keep as many runs off the scoreboard as possible.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Tanner Peterson. 1 out. Here's the pitch. Soft grounder left side. Tough play for Apin, the third baseman. Fields it with his bare hand. Throws it over to first in time. A run does score on the soft chopping ground ball. Apin with a nice defensive play, but the Spartans add 1 more on the RBI ground out. That is now 6-0 Lincoln East in the bottom of the first.
Nice play by Apin over there. Playing in made that a little bit easier, but to go down to a bare hand, throw that one in rhythm with that right foot planted, make an accurate throw across the diamond to Stevenson. That's a nice play over there at third.
So now Lewis Cockle will be at third base, and stepping into the box, it's Troy Peltz, who got the inning started with a solo shot over the right field wall. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit well. Nice snag out of the air on the hard hit line drive down the third baseline by Peltz by Jackson Apin. But the damage is done here in the bottom of the first inning. The Spartans score 6 runs on 5 hits, including a Troy Peltz leadoff solo home run over the right field wall. And the Spartans give Santino Aranaga a 6-run cushion as he trots back out there for his second inning of work. We'll be back in 60 seconds here on 93.7 The Ticket.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor. Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home. And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
So 6 runs put up in the bottom of the first inning by Lincoln East. It was ignited by that Troy Peltz solo home run over the right field wall. But then the rest of the lineup surely did their job as well. And so trotting back out there for a second inning of work, Santino Aranaga, who he is able to get a swing and a miss to Blake McAndrews on strike 1, 0-1. No balls, 1 strike, nobody out. Top of the second inning here from Warner Park. Nick Sainert, Austin Norman alongside. Here's the 0-1 pitch, swung on and missed again. 0-2 on that fastball on the outer part of the plate.
For Millard South to miss that scoring opportunity in the first inning, to not even be able to push 1 run across was bad enough. To compound it with errors in the field defensively, obviously that's going to hurt you in any game. But as Millard South's looking to keep its season alive against the number 1 seed, and a team has been a deserving, top-ranked team in the state pretty much wire to wire all year, Nick, it just stings double.
A leadoff base knock down the left field line for Blake McAndrews as he attacked that 0-2 breaker from Santino Aranaga, hit it over the third baseman Carter Harms' head, and is able to get to first base with nobody out in the top of the second inning. Roy Stevenson, the first baseman for Millard South Patriots with a runner on first base. Here's the pitch from Aranaga. It's on the outside zone. Strike one.
The glass half full approach, though, from Millard South is you're seeing it well. A bit of a funky motion from Aranaga, but you did load the bases, and now we'll lead off single here. So 6 runs feels like a lot. You probably won't get it back all at once, but you should feel all right about your chances to at least get yourself on the scoreboard early, and if you're Millard South, hopefully often.
The 0-1 offering is upstairs, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike here to Roy Steventon. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. Top of the second inning, runner at first base for Millard South. This one swung on, hit well out to center field. The center fielder Peltz racing back, is under it, and he's able to make the catch for out number 1. Hit well off the bat of Roy Steventon, but Troy Peltz, one of the best center fielders here in Class A, was able to track it down. Great drop step, working to his left, and was able to track down that fly ball in deep center field. So now stepping up to the plate, Logan Wick, the second baseman. Here's the first pitch. Swung on a breaking ball and missed it. It's 0-1. Santino Aranaga, less than a half earned run per appearance, a .47 earned run average on the year. As Logan Wick shows bunt, they try to back pick McAndrews at first base. It was a ball called at the plate, and so it's 1 ball, 1 strike now to Logan Wick.
Berthley was out of his stance really quick. His eyes got big on that pickoff throw down the first.
Aranaga, the lefty, facing the righty hitter of Logan Wick. The pitch to Wick, swung on, fouled off to the right side, and now it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. The winner of this game, if it's Lincoln East, they will advance to Friday night's state championship game at 7 p.m. If it's Millard South, we'll have a rematch later on today between these 2 teams. Here's the 1-2. Upstairs, and it's 2-2. Wind is howling now a little bit harder here at Warner Park, as you can hear in the background. Aranaga delivers. Foul ball again down the third base line, and it's 2-2 still. Logan Wick was 0 for 1 with a walk and a run driven in on Monday against the Spartans in that 3-2 loss.
Again, in that game, Nick, Millard South had chances to extend that 2-run lead that they had. Couldn't do it. They let Lincoln East just hang around.
Here's the 2-2 offering. Breaking ball, back foot. Does not get Logan Wick to bite, and now it's 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And if you're Wick, your team's in need of base runners. Turn into that one. See if you can get a free 90 feet.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here to Logan Wick, the 9-hole hitter in the Millard South lineup. Runner goes on first movement. Wick swings and fouls this one down the left field line. It will be a redo of 3 balls, 2 strikes, and I would imagine that Aranaga may pick over now to first base after he just noticed that Blake McAndrews was off with first movement.
Like you said, those are the 2 options, that you have as a runner over there at first base against the lefty. Do you go on first movement, or do you try to get the timing of it? Yep, there's
and
a pick.
A pick off over to first base, back in plenty of time standing up, was McAndrews. He did not have nearly as aggressive of a lead. Everybody kind of saw that one coming.
Can't tell if you're psychic or you're just seeing a lot of high school baseball.
3 balls, 2 strikes. They'll pick over again. Back in standing again is McAndrews. And 3 balls, 2 strikes is the count that's on the hitter, Logan Wick. Aranaga comes set. Hesitates. And he fires home. Up and inside for a ball 4. And now Millard South has runners on first and second base with 1 out.
That is a fantastic at-bat at the bottom of the lineup there by Logan Wick. To get down with 2 strikes, to battle back, take some borderline pitches. You set the table for your top of the order. That's all you can ask from the bottom. Now here's another opportunity for Millard South. They cannot come away empty-handed here in the top of the second.
So Millard South with runners at first and second base. Will Thomas, the leadoff hitter, into the batter's box as he skies this one left side. This one, I think, is going to get to the seats. It hit they had no idea it was even coming. There's a group of 4 Lincoln East students that are sitting in the 3rd row down there. They have blankets over their legs and their feet on the top of the seats in front of them. They weren't even looking up for the foul ball. They thought that it was staying in play, and it hit one of the girls in the lap. And so no balls, one strike here, as they didn't even try to get out of the way, Austin. That's so funny. The ball just came and slammed down on the blanket that's crossing their legs.
They look like they've been in a baseball game before, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they were looking at, what they were reading. Maybe it's just a lot of faith in Jeter Worthley.
Yeah, no balls, two strikes here to Will Thomas. Runners on first and second. McAndrews is at second base. Wicks at first. The breaking ball stays upstairs 1-2.
Might I ask what Thomas did his first at bat to fill out my book?
Rolled over to the first baseman.
Thank you.
For out number one in that first inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Will Thomas. The pitch from Aranaga is low and inside, ball 2. This is where Aranaga, you're pitching with a 6-run lead. Sometimes it's more difficult than people realize to pitch with a lead. You maybe try to do too much, but really Aranaga just needs to throw strikes and be competitive in the zone, get guys out. 2-2 offering in the dirt, 3-2. And now this is the second consecutive batter where Aranaga's had to deal with a full count. He walked the 9-hole hitter, Logan Wick, and is in danger of walking them loaded for the second consecutive inning here if he throws one more ball out of the zone to Will Thomas. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Thomas. In the dirt, spiked it, wasn't even close. And Jeter Worthley's going to have a conversation with his Spartans pitcher. And he'll have that conversation before Brady Parrish comes up to the plate. Parrish also had a full count last at-bat. He ended up walking in his first at-bat before eventually getting stranded at third base. So Parrish had that one-out walk in the first inning, but then was able to work himself all the way to third base where he was stranded in the top of the first inning. And it's 6-0 in the top of the second for Lincoln East. Millard South up to the plate. However, they have the bases loaded as well. Santino Aranaga, can he settle in and pitch with that 6-run lead? Lefty-lefty matchup as Parrish will watch strike one on the outer part of the zone, 0-1.
If I'm Aranaga, Nick, I'm working Parrish away, a guy that has a little bit of pop, wind blowing to right. He's probably looking to pull something in the air.
Here's a breaking ball that floats across the heart of the plate. That might be one that Parrish wants back as that 0-1 breaker floated across Broadway, and it's now no balls, 2 strikes. 1 out in the top of the second inning. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball skied high into shallow center field. Peltz will get behind it, and they're going to try to tag McAndrews. McAndrews, the throw from Peltz is not in time. Tagging successfully is Blake McAndrews from third. Peltz made a nice throw, but it was into the wind that was pushing it out towards the right field line. And Jeter Worthley unable to apply the tag in time to get McAndrews, and Millard South is on the board on a sacrifice fly.
That was a bang-bang play. Cannon of an arm from Troy Peltz out there, but really good jump at third base by McAndrews. That ball got there, and Worthley tagged him on the hip, but that left hand snuck onto the plate just ahead of the tag.
Runners are at first and second now with 2 outs. 6-1 is your score. Lincoln East out in front by 5 runs. Here's the pitch to Jackson Apin as it's fisted out to shallow center field. I don't know if Peltz is going to get there. He dives. It pops out of his glove. Another Millard South run will score. Runners will be at the corners as Peltz went full extension. That wind tried to hold it up long enough. Peltz was unable to squeeze it in the mitt. It popped out of the leather. And here, Millard South adds 2 runs in the top of the second inning as they bring up cleanup hitter Braden Sweeney.
Just like that, things are interesting. We knew they would be 2 really talented teams out here. And after the opportunity that Millard South had in the first, Nick, it was the bottom of the order that got things going. Said, you know what, we saw what the top can do, but we're going to do our best to get on the board. So now 2, 3, and 4 have all the opportunity to drive in runs.
Braden Sweeney steps up to the plate, lefty-lefty matchup. The pitch in the dirt, ball 1. Good stop behind the dish by Jeter Worthley. Doesn't feel like either starting pitcher is going to be able to last much longer in this one. Noah Carroll surrenders 6 runs in the bottom of the first. Santino Aranaga is in trouble for the second consecutive inning. A soft chopper right side. Nobody's there. The tag will not be applied. Kalai Larson had nobody standing on first base to help him out. Millard South cuts the lead in half. They score their 3rd run of the game here in the top of the second inning on a soft chopping ground ball down the first base line. And Braden Swaney, it wasn't pretty, but it gets the job done as the inning continues with 2 outs in the top of the second. Carson Durr will now come to the plate, and Michael Lanick is out to talk to Santino Aranaga on the mound. We step aside, come back in a few minutes right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
When daily energy fades and your drive just isn't what it used to be, Game Day Men's Health helps you step back into top form. Game Day Men's Health is one of the country's fastest growing clinics, and they focus on men's wellness, providing customized solutions with professionalism and privacy in mind. Testosterone optimization, weight management, vitamin injections, and shockwave therapy are just a few of the many things they offer. Restore your energy and rediscover confidence with the help of Game Day Men's Health, because every man deserves to feel his best every day. Visit them online at GameDayMen'sHealth.com today or in person at one of their 2 locations in Omaha. Jumpstart your summer to the max. Walk into any Max Tan in Lincoln and get a $5 standing tan session or a $5 red light wellness booth session. Your summer tan starts today with $5 sessions at Max Tan with 3 Lincoln locations.
Norman back with you, Warner Park. Runners on first and second here to Carson Durr as he gets hit by a pitch from Santino Aranaga, and now the bases are loaded. And at this point, Santino Aranaga, he knows what he needs to do, right? He just needs to execute it, right? Jeter Worthy went out and talked to him a little bit ago. Michael Lanick just talked to him a few seconds ago. No mound visit, no conversation from your players. It's almost overkill at this point. But now that brings up Noah Carroll. Can the pitcher help himself out here at the plate? The pitch to Carroll. Down the middle, strike 1.
Big at bat here for Carroll, who went down looking at a pretty hittable pitch to end that first inning and give himself no run support that clearly he needed after a 6 spot put up in the first by Lincoln East.
Carroll struck out looking, as Austin mentioned, to end the first inning. Here's the pitch. Inside corner, strike 2.
I wonder if Carroll holds his ground if he gets the benefit of the doubt of that call.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Millard South in danger of leaving them loaded for the second consecutive inning. Here's the pitch to Carroll. Breaking ball upstairs, 1-2. Noah Carroll came up in the first with the bases loaded and struck out looking. Now he has them loaded again here in the top of the second. The tying run is at first base. It's 6-3 here in the top of the second. Here's the pitch from Aranaga. Breaking ball outside, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Apin's at third base. Here's the pitch. Upstairs, 3-2, and Noah Carroll's worked it full. Apin's at third, Swaney's at second, Carson Durr is at first. Noah Carroll, the Millard South pitcher who surrendered 6 runs in the bottom half of the first inning, comes up to the plate with a 3-2 count. The payoff pitch in the top of the second from Aranaga. Down, inside corner, strike 3. Noah Carroll goes down looking for the second time today, and for the second time in as many innings, Millard South leaves the bases loaded. We turn to the bottom half of the second inning. In that home half of the second, it'll be hitters 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Spartans here from Warner Park on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It has taken 51 minutes of real time to complete an inning and a half here. 6-3 is your score as we enter the bottom of the second inning, and Noah Carroll for Millard South, after surrendering 6 runs in the home half of the first, is back out there for his second inning of work. He will face hitters 2, 3, and 4 in this Lincoln East batting order. It's Jeter Worthley up first. He singled, advanced on a wild pitch, and then came around to score in the first inning. 6-3 is your score. Out of the windup, it's Noah Carroll. Facing the right-handed hitter, Jeter Worthley. The pitch. Fouled off right side, 0-1.
Do we see Worthley maybe try to go the opposite way with the button this time? Apin's in on the cut.
No balls, 1 strike. Nobody out in the bottom of the second. Here's the pitch to Worthy on 0-1. Low and away, ball 1. And what Austin's alluding to, Jeter drag bunted down the third base line after that Troy Peltz leadoff home run in the first inning. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball, hit right side, and it's an error on the first baseman, Stevenson. He tried to backhand it instead of turning and bodying up with it. That's going to go as an error, I would imagine. No, they ruled it a hit. No, they did rule it an error. Thank you. As they ruled an error on the third baseman officially, or rather first baseman officially, and Jeter Worthley will now take first base.
With the speed of Worthley, that helps cause the error. Stevenson knows that Worthley's bearing down out of that batter's box. He can really fly. Stevenson just took his eye off it, taking a step toward first base.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Worthley in motion here as Senstock squares to bunt, pulls back, takes called strike 0-1. I think we were both surprised to see Worthley not in motion the first time around. Here with a 3-run lead, maybe we see Lincoln East try to take a risk. Here's the 0-1. Upstairs to 1-1. Especially here, 1 ball, 1 strike. Senstock has seen back-to-back fastballs. You can somewhat gamble that a breaking ball is going to come. Maybe Worthley can get a jump on Carroll. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball, hard grounder, fielded by the third baseman, Apin, and he throws it into right field as he tried to throw it to second. Rolling into third base is Worthley, and Apin with another miscue defensively over there at the hot corner. And instead of potentially getting 2 outs or even just being sure of 1 at second base, runners are at the corners now with nobody out, and Lincoln East is back in business.
Apin dropped that elbow. Looked like he tried to aim that ball instead of just throwing it. That was a tailor-made 5-4-3 double play that would have been huge for Millard South to get 1 step closer to being back in the dugout. And now, Nick, if you're Noah Carroll, more important than anything you're doing mechanically is what's the conversation with yourself in your head? You've given up 6 runs. You have runners on the corners and no one out. You can't blame your teammates. You can't be mad at them. You've got to find a way to talk to yourself in a positive way mentally, bear down, and do your best to just focus on this hitter. Leave the 2 errors this inning in the past.
We do have a pinch runner. Brady Hannes will pinch run for Joey Senstock over at first base. And so Hannes comes in for Senstock. This will be a pinch runner. Senstock, the shortstop. He looked to be holding his left arm or kind of just over his diaphragm area, and so we'll have to keep an eye on that later in this one as Hannes is at first, Worthley's at third. The first pitch of the at-bat to Carter Harms is a ball, 1-0.
If Senstock does have to come out of the game, it wouldn't be Hannes replacing him. He's listed as a pitcher outfielder, so I doubt that he's a guy that would take over at shortstop should Senstock be done today.
Senstock can obviously re-enter, but if Michael Lanik over there in the third base coaching box feels like this is an inning of opportunity, maybe you just don't want to take a risk. Here as the 1-0 pitch to Harms is outside 2-0. And there's also, we talk about the conversations internally with Noah Carroll. There's also some deflating feelings after you consistently are able to get ground balls that your defense just hasn't been able to do the job behind you. 2 balls, no strikes to Carter Harms. This one is upstairs 3-0. It's hard to consistently bounce back time and time again when you don't feel like you have much help behind you with the other 7 guys that are behind you in the 8th behind the plate. 3 balls, no strikes. Here's the pitch from Noah Carroll, and that's in there for strike 1.
Aside from the home run by Peltz, Nick, it's just been that little flare to third base by Peltz that's been in the air. Otherwise, Carroll's done a great job of getting those ground balls, for the most part, right at his fielders, too.
3 balls, 1 strikes to Harms. And it's upstairs. That's ball 4. So now you look at the way that Lincoln East has gotten them loaded. And I feel like a broken record at times because Jeter Worthley reaches on an error. He is able to not only get to second, but advance to third on another error. That is how Senstock reached base, was on an error. And how does Carter Harms reach? Base on balls. A 5-pitch walk. So now that brings up Kalai Larson. Bases full of Spartans. The first pitch of the at-bat to Larson. Swung on, hit well left side, and it's through the glove of McAndrews at short. 1 run will score, and rounding third is Hannes. He will score, and Lincoln East adds 2 here in the bottom of the second inning. They lead it 8-3.
Another ground ball that probably should have been a double play. There's really not much more Noah Carroll can do at this point, Nick. His defense has let him down really from the jump, and it's an unfortunate sight for Noah Carroll and for Millard South because you're just running your pitcher's pitch count up. You're making it tough on him, much tougher than it needs to be. I don't know if Millard South gets a double play on that one necessarily, but they at least get an out at second base.
8-3 is your score. Lincoln East with runners at first and second base, and it's Carter McPeak. Here's the pitch. McPeak shows bunt, bunts it back to the pitcher. The only play is to first base, and in time to get McPeak at first on the throw by Noah Carroll for out number 2. So 1-3 on the putout. 1-4 on the putout. And it's going to be as the first out of the inning. So sacrifice now moves runners into second and third. And now it's Brody McIntyre's turn as the infield plays on the cut of the grass. Runners at second and third. Here's the pitch. Swung on, soft chopper left side. Third baseman Apin lets it come up to him. A high throw at first, but is able to be tracked down by Steventon. Surprised that the runner at third, Harms, did not go on contact. That was a similar play and hit that we saw in the first inning off the bat of McIntyre, to where he kind of hit a soft dribbler to the left side, and it actually worked out in the Spartans' favor. But McIntyre is retired, 5-3 on the putout, and that is out number 2 to bring up Lewis Cockle. Cockle doubled back in the first inning. This one hit up the middle, fielded by Carroll, and he jogs over to first, underhands it to Steventon in time for out number 3. But the Spartans do get 2 runs back in the bottom of the second inning. They lead it 8-3 here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
When daily energy fades and your drive just isn't what it used to be, Game Day Men's Health helps you step back into top form. Game Day Men's Health is one of the country's fastest growing clinics, and they focus on men's wellness, providing customized solutions with professionalism and privacy in mind. Testosterone optimization, weight management, vitamin injections, and shockwave therapy are just a few of the many things they offer. Restore your energy and rediscover confidence with the help of Game Day Men's Health, because every man deserves to feel his best every day. Visit them online at GameDayMen'sHealth.com today or in person at one of their 2 locations in Omaha.
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It's the top of the third inning. It's 8-3 here between Lincoln East and Millard South. Due up in the top of the third, it'll be it'll be hitters 7, 8, and 9 due up for Millard South. Here to tell you about it, it's Austin Norman.
Thank you very much, Nick. Blake McAndrews leads off the third. He led off the second with a single. First pitch swinging and missing down in the count, 0-1. McAndrews singled. Roy Stevenson shot one pretty well to center field. Then there's a walk from Logan Wick that got things going for the Patriots in the second. That fastball letter high taken for a ball, 1-1. We've already seen 11 runs through the game's first 2 innings. Could have seen as many as 20 probably. Millard South left the bases loaded each of their first 2 trips to the plate, and Lincoln East just left runners on second and third. They had him there with 1 out. McAndrews flails and misses at that one. He's now down in the count 1-2. McAndrews, the shortstop, had a rough day defensively. Can he get a little bit back here at the plate? Breaking ball up, 2-2. You can't take what happens in the field with you into the batter's box. You can't take what happens in the batter's box with you out to the field. Arnaga delivers. That one runs inside. All McAndrews can do is fight it off the hands. Foul ball. Aranaga's got a little bit of a funky motion. A little herky-jerky and very over the top. Well, crossfire delivery as well. Aranaga brings it home. Swing and a miss. And McAndrews goes down on strikes. He's retired for the first out at the top of the third inning.
Good job by Aranaga. We saw Carroll struggle to settle in that second inning here. Aranaga has a chance to really settle in. He's only allowed 3 runs, right? Get back into it and work a clean one. Allow your bats that have already put up 8 runs today, let them get back to work.
He faced 6 batters in the first inning, all 9 hitters in the lineup in the second. He's got the bottom of the order up again. He floats a breaking pitch across the plate for strike 1. Royce Stevenson wears number 14. He's the first baseman, also committed an error in the bottom of the second. Reaches out, pokes that one foul. He's now down in the count, 0-2. Stevenson entered the state tournament hitting .280, 18 out of 64. He scored 24 runs, driven in 13 of them. Aranaga set, chest tied, tried the breaking ball, didn't get it, 1-2. Worthley throws it high of his target, so Troy Peltz will have to take a jog, retrieve that one. It's 1 throw. It's not a big sign, but if you're Lincoln East here, Nick, not out of the woods yet. We know this Millard South offense is dangerous. Still got to take care of the little things. Aranaga with the 5-run lead comes on a 1-2 count, fouled back to the screen. We'll do it again, 1-2.
Well, I think it's also important for Millard South to control what you can control, right? Those last 2 innings are done. You can control body language. You can control, not trying to make the moment bigger than it is. Start chipping away, just like you did in the top of the second.
Aranaga's been missing up. Will he go that way again? He does with the fastball, 2-2. When a pitcher misses up, Nick, what's the mechanical reason for that?
A lot of times shorten themselves off. They're not striding out far enough. They're not throwing downhill. The chest flies open. And then you see them try to overcorrect it a lot of times, and they'll try to really get too far out front, and they'll just spike it in front of the plate just like Aranaga just did.
That brings the count full, 3-2. Good at bat here from Stevenson with 1 away in the top of the third. Aranaga's full count delivery lifted in the air to left. Senstock's back in the game at shortstop. He'll retreat onto the outfield grass, bring it in for out number 2. That brings up Logan Wick. Wick was the 3rd batter of the second inning. He had a good at bat, resulted in a walk. Righty-lefty matchup, Wick with the platoon advantage. Closed off stance from him, closed off stance from Aranaga. Out of the stretch, here it comes. Fastball low and in, 1-0. Some of Aranaga's fastballs seem to have some life to them. Other times it's pretty straight. He brings home the 1-0 as Wick fakes a bunt, 2-0. Eight to 3, Lincoln East leads Millard South here in game one of what could be 2, 3, or 4 at Werner Park. Wick now way ahead in the count, 3-0. Millard South has their navy jerseys on, red helmets, white pants. Lincoln East, white tops, white pants, white and blue cleats sprinkled across the diamond, and blue ball caps as Wick takes a fastball for a strike on the outer edge, 3-1. Aranaga quickly ready to bring it home again. Swung on, chopped down the third baseline, but foul. I think Harms intended to throw that one to first base. He didn't hear the umpire say foul, but he threw it right at his pitcher, right at Aranaga's feet. He was able to pick it off the mound. Moment of levity here at Werner. Key to the moment there, I don't think Harms was listening for the umpire necessarily. We all saw a pretty quick foul call as Wick takes ball 4, so he'll trot down to first base after drawing his second walk of the day. So now a 2-out base runner for the Patriots. That brings up the top of the order. Will Thomas rolled over to first base in the first. He also drew a walk back in the second. Wick average lead at first. He's off with the pitch. Worthley's throw to second base in plenty of time. What a pitch and catch from Worthley to Senstock. Wick's average lead was not enough. He's thrown out by a few feet at second base, and that quells the threat for the Patriots in the top of the third. Lincoln East has scored their first 2 trips to the plate. Can they go 3 for 3? We'll find out next here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Discovering your life's passion is easier with options, and that's what Doane offers students. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes you different. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It'll be 9-1-2 due up for top-seeded Lincoln East here in the bottom of the third. Austin Norman, Nick Sainert on the radio call here for The Ticket. Really appreciate the chance to be up here calling some games. Appreciate all the great sponsors for making this possible. Staff at Nebraska Omaha, the staff here at Werner, the NSAA. Been a well-run, smooth event. Very few hiccups. Been plenty of hiccups, though, for Millard South in this one. They trail 8-3. Noah Carroll back on the mound for his third inning of work. Tanner Peterson due up. He had an RBI ground out to third as the ninth batter of the bottom of the first inning. Carroll brings home a fastball. That's ripped in the air to left, but trotting over and making the play is the left fielder Brady Parrish. One pitch, one out for Noah Carroll here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, I think we're seeing Greg Geary, the head coach for Millard South, tell his guy Noah Carroll, all right, man, look, 8 runs allowed on the board right now. They're not all earned, right? You look at Lincoln East, 8 runs on 6 hits. Millard South's committed 3 crucial errors that have allowed innings to prolong and continue. Hasn't been all Noah Carroll's fault today.
Top of the order, Troy Peltz takes a breaker down 1-0. Some people might say leaving Carroll in there is okay, just make him wear it. In the last game of the year, though, I don't think that's what it is, Nick. We've seen action in the Millard South bullpen since the first inning. as Peltz takes a pitch inside. Now he's ahead 2-0. I think really what this is a belief in his guy to keep getting ground balls and also a belief in his offense. They've seen Arenaga pretty well all day. So if you can save some of your high leverage arms and make this a close game, that will go a long way.
Yeah, I think so too. I also think that you have to somewhat play a little bit of a risk-reward type of thing. Yeah, you need to you have to win today, the first game, to get to the second game of the day, as it's ball 4 to Troy Peltz on a 4-pitch walk. So Jeter Worthy will be up to bat. You have to get to the next game. I get that you need to win today, but you also can't use all of your resources on this game. It's a teeter-totter fine line that you have to walk if you're head coach Greg Geary.
Right now, it's going to be more about the offense for Millard South, trailing by 5 runs, but the defense will give him a chance to keep it at just 5. 1 out walk to Peltz. He gets an average lead. Worthley has a bunt single. He also reached on an error. Takes a nice fastball inside, 0-1. Carroll entered the day with an ERA south of 3 at 2.7. It's gone up, but not dramatically. Carroll rocks to a set. Quick peek over first. Now he delivers as Peltz is on the move on a breaking ball. Down. Well-timed stolen base attempt by Troy Peltz. It was easy for him. He motors 90 feet to second base.
Yeah, I think it's also, you look at it and you say, man, Noah Carroll, you've had to deal with the top part of this Lincoln East order. Not that you ever can really take an inning off against the Spartans lineup, but to have to deal with the top 4, especially of Peltz, Worthy, Senstock, and Harms consistently for 3 consecutive innings, it's a lot to ask.
Carroll takes a couple peeks to Peltz at second base. Worthley swings, shoots that one through the right side. That should be worth a run. Peltz gets the wave around third. The throw home from Sweeney, not in time, and Carroll didn't have the right angle to back it up. So on the overthrow, Jeter Worthley moves up to second base, an RBI single, and advance to second on the throwing error, and it's 9-3 Lincoln East.
That's Lincoln East to a T right there. You make the opponent pay for putting you on base via free pass, as Senstock will re-enter into the game here to hit. But you make them pay. You get a stolen base. You do a nice, great job of the ball and dirt read, although it was already a stolen base there to get Peltz to second base. And then Jeter Worthy does what Jeter Worthy does so many times here. That is his .354 batting average coming into the state tournament, poking one through the right side for an RBI single.
So Peltz and Worthley trade places. This one skied in the air to center field. Thomas and Sweeney racing in. Sweeney will make the catch. Ball finds you. Throwing error by Sweeney goes right back to him, but he's able to make the grab on the first pitch of the at-bat to Joey Senstock for the second out of the bottom of the third. That brings up Carter Harms. Harms has been aboard twice. He had an RBI single, would come around to score in the first. He walked and was stranded at third in the second. Lincoln East now scored in all 3 frames. Carroll holds the ball to his hip, now comes set in the abdomen. Quick peek to second base. Breaker down and away, 1-0.
You said it right there. Lincoln East has scored in all 3 frames. This is what number 1 seeds do. This is what state championship caliber programs do. They start off, apply pressure from the get-go, and they keep it consistent the entire game.
Explosive and methodical, as that one is flown out to right center field. That's twisting back towards Sweeney. He'll camp underneath it. Back-to-back flyouts to end the frame. But not before Lincoln East tacks on a 9th run. Spartans lead the Patriots 9-3 as we head to the top of the 4th inning here at Warner Park on 93.7 The Ticket.
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
9-3 at Lincoln East leads Millard South. Austin Norman and Nick Sainert on the call here at Warner Park. Santino Aranaga returns for his fourth inning of work. He will be tasked with the top of the order. Thomas, Parrish, and Apin. That group today has only recorded one official out. Well, 2 outs, but Parrish's second at bat was an RBI sac fly. Will Thomas strides to the plate, lefty batter against the lefty Aranaga. Thomas came into the state tournament sporting a .347 batting average, 35 hits and 101 at bats. Worthley breaks up the conference on the mound. He'll trot back to home plate to get into his stance. Aranaga's been a bit all over the place. Command control haven't been there.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the
as his team holds a 6-run lead. That fastball hits the outer edge for a strike, 0-1. We're in the fourth inning. It's the third at bat here for the top of the Patriot order. Thomas out just in front of that one. Fouls it off, 0-2. Fouled it off to the left side. Mostly straight back, but he was ahead. He was reaching for it. He's ahead of the breaking ball. Thomas needs a second to adjust that elbow pad. Now he'll climb into the batter's box and await the 0-2. Aranaga kicks and delivers a breaking ball. Missed way out of the zone, 1-2.
Hasn't been able to get on top of that breaking ball consistently tonight. That 0-2 breaker is one, if you're going to miss, you want to miss down in the dirt. Waste pitch there. Hasn't been able to consistently get on top of it.
Comes back with a fastball. Thomas smacks that one to right. It's on a line, but drifting over to make the catch is McPeak. Will Thomas squared that one up, but McPeak had it played perfectly. Thomas is down, 1 away. Still a lot of good signs from this Millard South offense, Nick. They've had base runners, just haven't been able to pay it off outside of the second. So here's Brady Parrish. Parrish, no official bats today with a walk and an RBI sacrifice fly. He checks his swing on pitch low and out, 1-0. With Aranaga's command not there with the breaking ball, you can do like Thomas did, sit on the fastball. Parrish swung over one there, 1-1.
And I think a big question as well, there's a lot that rides on the offense of that Millard South dugout. There's just very little confidence, I think, in that defense right now.
Parrish way out in front of that one. He taps it foul, 1-2.
4 errors committed by this Millard South defense right now. It's just, if you're a pitcher on the mound, when you don't feel like you have a strong defensive performance behind you, you feel like you got to do a lot of it on your own, if not all of it, and that's not a great mentality to have on the mound.
Makes you feel like you got to be perfect against a deep lineup. Hard to be perfect. Parrish taps that one foul down the first base side again. We'll do it at 1-2. Thomas pulled it, but he was on a pitch on the inner part. Parrish has been ahead of Aranaga so far in the at-bat. Slow yourself down mentally. Take that deep breath. Timing so important both on the mound and in the box. Parrish is deep in the box as Aranaga comes set. Breaking ball. That's rolled over to second base. Up with it is the second baseman, Brody McIntyre. He fires over to Larson in time for the second out.
Good job. Now, I think we're starting to see in the middle innings here, right? We talked about it. All right, let's break up this game into thirds, if you will. First 3 frames, the second 3 frames, and then even the 7th inning you can add in there at a time, as this might be the end of the day for Santino Aranaga. But what I was going to say is you look at it, the first 2 people, I mean, it was out of control. This game was out of control. Some errant throws, some really bad mistakes, uncharacteristic plays. Now we're starting to see both sides start to settle in a little bit as Aranaga's day is done.
We'll give you the final line on Aranaga after this. He exits with nobody on base and 2 outs in the top of the 4th. We'll step aside for 30 seconds. Be right back, tell you about the new pitcher for the Spartans after this on 93.7 The Ticket.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Jumpstart your summer to the max. Walk into any Max Tan in Lincoln and get a $5 standing tan session or a $5 red light wellness booth session. Your summer tan starts today with $5 sessions at Max Tan with 3 Lincoln locations.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
New pitcher for Lincoln East will be Grayson Borkman, making his second appearance of the state tournament. Second appearance against these Millard South Patriots, Nick Sainer.
Yeah, that's right. They pitched on Monday against the Patriots in relief of Jack Oler, the starter. Borkman threw 2 2/3. He had 2 walks and allowed 1 hit, but shut down Millard South's offense. No earned runs. The final line on Santino Aranaga, he goes 3 2/3. He has 4 hits. He walked 6 Patriots and struck out 3 of them. Also had 3 earned runs in those first 3 2/3.
Base is clear for Borkman as Jackson Apin strides to the plate. Lincoln East might have won the platoon advantage as that one runs up and in on Apin. In fact, it clips him, so he draws a hit by pitch. He'll be aboard for the first base runner of the inning with 2 outs. We should mention that of Aranaga's 3 strikeouts, 2 of them were especially key. They were both strikeouts looking of Aranaga's counterpart on the mound, Noah Carroll. They were key because they stranded the bases loaded in both the first and the second innings. Borkman misses the zone again. He's behind 1-0. The batter, Braden Swaney, left-handed hitter, leading RBI man on the year for the Patriots, 42 of them. He's also gone deep 4 times. 400 batting average for the right fielder, who recorded the final 2 outs of the bottom of the 3rd. Fastball chopped up the middle. McIntyre has it off the heel of his glove. Could have been a 4-6 ending ground out, but instead it's the first error of the day for Lincoln East. And Swaney reaches first. Apin moves up to second. That brings up Carson Durr.
There you go. 2 runners on base here with 2 outs in the top of the 4th inning. Both of them reaching base via an error or a walk or a hit by pitch in this case. See if Carson Durr, the future Omaha Maverick, can make them pay.
Trailing by 6. Going to be hard to get all 6 of those back with 2 outs if you're Millard South. So getting 1 or 2 here in the 4th keeps you in the fight. Borkman takes a long look at Apin at second base. Now we'll bring it home to Durr. First pitch swinging. Foul. Out of play on the right side. 0-1. Carson Durr is a junior. 500 hitter, 19 of 38 this season. Now is entering the state tournament. Durr awaits the 0-1 from Borkman. McIntyre works Apin at second. Now breaking ball. Durr was out in front of it, 0-2. Pretty predictable call on the breaking ball there, Nick. We see a lot of that in high school. First pitch fastball. If you get ahead, you'll try the breaking ball.
It'll be interesting here to see what Borkman goes with. I almost kind of want to say elevated heater, but we'll see if he tries to bury a breaker low and away.
He needs a sec to think about it. He'll reset by stepping off the rubber. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the top of the 4th. 2 Millard South Patriots on the backs. Here's the 0-2. Borkman misses inside, 1-2.
I like the approach, though, right? 1-2, or excuse me, now it was 0-2. Now it's 1-2. No nonsense approach on the mound. Firing that fastball, see if you can get something on the inner part.
It is now 1-2. 3 runs on 4 hits for Millard South on the day. Another run stands at second base. Borkman's 1-2. That's a breaking ball inside corner, called strike 3. Durr wants an explanation from the home plate umpire. but for the third time, Millard South will leave a runner or more in scoring position. They trail by 6. Lincoln East up 6 as they come to bat in the home half of the fourth. Due up for the Spartans, it will be Larson, McPeak, and McIntyre after this on 93.7 The Ticket.
Jumpstart your summer to the max. Walk into any Max Tan in Lincoln and get a $5 standing tan session or a $5 red light wellness booth session. Your summer tan starts today with $5 sessions at Max Tan with 3 Lincoln locations.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Noah Carroll's day is done. 9 runs allowed, not all of them earned. Called to the bullpen for Millard South is Brock Lang. Lang is a senior, 1-0 record on the year with a 4.2 ERA. Austin Orman and Nick Sainert on the call here for the ticket. As I mentioned, it will be 5, 6, 7, Larson, McPeak, and McIntyre due up. Lincoln East has put runs on the board in all 3 frames so far.
I told you during the break, Austin, I'll say it publicly now, watch for this strike zone maybe to expand a little bit here in this half inning in favor of Millard South. The home plate umpire rang Carson Durr, the Millard South catcher, up on a front door breaking ball. It was a pretty friendly call for Lincoln East, but also we'll sometimes see the strike zone shrink for the opposing team's catcher. And Durr and the home plate umpire had a nice little conversation after he rung him up. I imagine that part of that conversation was the home plate umpire telling him, don't worry, Carson, I'll get you one this next half inning. We'll see if it comes to play a big role here in the bottom of the fourth.
Durr was displeased but cordial. Respectful approach to handling the situation. So Brock Lang's first batter will be Kalai Larson. He's been aboard both times. He singled in the first as a bunt single. He reached on an error by McAndrews in the second. We're in the bottom of the fourth, 9-3 Spartans. Beautiful day for baseball. Light blue sky, cloud cover moving in and out. Lang's first pitch swung on. Apin sits on it, has to knock it down. He'll fire across the diamond in time to retire Kalai Larson. So 1 pitch and 1 out for Brock Lang in the bottom of the fourth.
That's all you need to do if you're Apin the entire day. Sometimes we've seen him jump out of the way, try to backhand some balls that are in the center of his body. That's all you need to do. Even if you knock it down, normally they're going to be hit hard enough, especially off of some of the bats of these Spartan hitters. You got plenty of time to just go make the play.
Here's Carter McPeak. He reached on an error by McAndrews in the first to lay down a sacrifice bunt in the second. First pitch taking for a ball, 1-0. If you're Lincoln East, Nick, you have a 6-run advantage. You can't sit on it, though. You still got to keep your approach. That one misses low and away, 2-0. As we've seen Millard South have base runners every inning, even though they've only scored in 1 inning. Patriot offense has been in position. Lang's 2-0, swung on, hit to right field. Swaney measures it. It's on the line right at him for the second out. That's still a good approach, though, by McPeak, Nick. He hit that one hard, just on the line right at Swaney. So here is Brody McIntyre. McIntyre had an error in the field defensively last half inning. In the batter's box, though, he's 1 for 2, RBI single, and a ground out to third.
Brody going to continue his career as a Tommy at St. Thomas.
McIntyre a righty, as is Lang. He squares to bunt, pulls it back, 1-0. I don't know if we in Nebraska have given enough credit to St. Thomas for the job that university's done, transitioning from Division III to Division I. And, of course, as Nebraskans, we can bring that up only because the Omaha Mavericks beat them for the Summit League crown.
That's right. In men's basketball.
In men's basketball, yes. 2-0 as Lang misses outside with a breaker. A lot of Summit League representation here at the Class A state baseball tournament. See South Dakota State, one that you mentioned, St. Thomas, Omaha. Lang misses again on 2-0, now 3-0 to Brody McIntyre.
One school we have not seen actually anybody in the state tournament, if I'm not mistaken, is the University of Creighton.
Fastball for a strike, 3-1 now.
Last year,
Van Tyker.
Yeah, Millard West's third baseman Nick Van Tyker was a member of the Creighton class. But nobody here this year.
That one up letter high. McIntyre takes it for a ball. He'll trot down to first base with a 2-out walk. You get Iowa in there for Brady Ferguson from Millard West. Oklahoma State, we saw Danny Wallace yesterday. A lot of Nebraska schools representation, but for Creighton to be shut out, little odd, makes you wonder.
You know what? There is one Creighton guy, as I'm looking at the sheet here,
Have we seen him in the state tournament?
No, we have not. He's in Class
C?
C, Central City and Centura, home of a great golf course, Centura Hills, by the way.
Ball dirt, Reed McIntyre takes off for second. He'll make it as McAndrews was unable to corral the throw from Durr, so now he's in scoring position with 2 away for Lewis Cockle.
But at Central City, Jacob Rule is going to be going to Creighton for new head coach Mark Kingston.
Indeed. Excited to finally see some Class C on Friday. They have not played at Tal Anderson or Werner Park yet, but we'll bring you their state championship game at noon on Friday. Lang's got a runner at second base as he brings it home to Cockle. That one fouled off out of play.
I know we got to keep it to a minimum, the Creighton baseball conversation, but the job that they have done transitioning to Mark Kingston as a head coach and waiting from somebody that's been there as long as Ed Service has is actually pretty fascinating to watch.
And a guy with not a lot of ties back to the program.
No.
Mark Kingston.
Brought him from South Carolina after he was fired by the Gamecocks 2 seasons ago.
Lang's 1-1, skips up there. McIntyre gets another ball dirt read. That bounced way up the third baseline. Dirt couldn't get to it. That's a really good down and then away read by McIntyre. And now he's just 90 feet away. 2-1 count to Cockle. One last thing on the Creighton point, something they did on the men's basketball side as well. They brought Alan Huss back home for High Point. Lang is set at the belt. He brings home the 2-1. Misses low and away, 3-1. So Lewis Cockle batting in the 8 hole for Lincoln East. He had a 2-run double and a tapper back to Noah Carroll. That one skips up there. Dirt takes it off the chest plate. So another 2-out walk brings up Tanner Peterson. Peterson, the designated hitter, 0 for 2 today, an RBI ground out to third for the second out of the first inning, and then a line out to left leading off the third. Hear that wind whipping, blowing toward the right field line, toward the right field corner maybe. Might have helped Troy Peltz out a little bit in the first on his leadoff solo home run. He stands on deck right now. Can Tanner Peterson give the top of the order a chance? Peterson watches that fastball at the shins, 1-0.
And what started as a fairly routine start of the bottom of the fourth inning for Brock Lang out of the bullpen is now he's got a little bit of traffic on the paths where he's got to worry about it now.
We'll see if Cockle's in motion here with 2 outs. Runners on the corners. He's not. Peterson, big swing, fouls it back to the screen, 1-1. 9 runs on 7 hits for Lincoln East through 3 2/3 innings. Peterson looking to join the hit parade. It's a righty-righty matchup. He awaits the 1-1 from Lang. Lang kicks and delivers. Fastball inside corner. Strike 2. There might be that call that you mentioned might be coming, Nick.
Yeah, but then also down third base line. Watch for this. Brody McIntyre at third base started sprinting home because Carson Durr lazily, lackadaisically, dropped to the knees, floated the ball to the pitcher, and if Brody McIntyre starts to read that, he might try to swipe home. That's why Carson Durr right there gets up on his feet. Sometimes catchers can get into this mode where they just drop down to a knee, flick it back to the pitcher, lackadaisical, But man,
get complacent in a rhythm.
You can't sleep on a team like Lincoln East, especially with those types of things, delay steals, even something as rare as trying to swipe home.
That was a really good miss on the breaking ball from Lang. Just missed the low outside corner. Cockle in motion as Peterson takes a fastball up and in. And there's that stolen base. Full count now to Tanner Peterson. I know he doesn't have a hit today. I know it's a dangerous lineup here, Nick, but you would like to see Lang be aggressive, not give the top of the order a chance with the bases loaded. Full count, 2 outs, first base unoccupied, but 2 Spartans in scoring position. Fastball on the ground to second base. Wick up with it. He'll get it to Stevenson in plenty of time. Peterson won't even finish his run down to first base. So for the first time today, Lincoln East held scoreless. Wasn't easy for Brock Lang, but he keeps the Spartans off the scoreboard in the home half of the fourth. Still 9-3 Spartans as we go to the fifth. We'll be back with more Class A State baseball on 93.7 The Ticket.
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
6, 7, and 8 due up for Millard South, looking to cut into their 6th-run deficit. Noah Carroll leads off. I'm Austin Norman here with the 5th inning. Nick Sainer.
Thank you, Austin. Right again, as it's 9-3. Millard South trails by 6. But like Austin said, 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up. It's Noah Carroll up first as he takes strike one on the outer part of the plate. 0-1. This Lincoln East team trying to make it back to their 3rd consecutive state title game as the 0-1 offering is a ball outside 1-1. Carroll, the right-handed hitter, he started the day on the mound after since then being taken out and is now the designated hitter. But he will swing and foul this off to the right side. Carroll pitched earlier in the week. He actually was brought in relief of Tyler Albert earlier this week on Friday in against Millard West. As that is strike 3 over the heart of the plate for out number 1 to Noah Carroll here in the 5th inning. But he came in relief of Tyler Albert. But then he ended up throwing 5 innings, 5 hits, allowed 5 hits, 1 earned run, struck out 4. Here's the pitch to Blake McAndrews. McAndrews takes ball 1 up and away, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch on the way, inside corner, strike 1. We've seen the home plate umpire become a little more friendly with that inside part of the plate. So many high school guys think outside's the way to go, and really you can jam guys in on the inside part of the plate. As this one's floated out to right center field, Troy Peltz, floats over there with it and makes the catch for out number 2. Here in the top of the 5th inning, Millard South, 3 runs on 4 hits, 4 errors committed by the Patriots, while Lincoln East, 9 runs on 7 hits, and they've committed an error on their own. Not a pretty baseball game by any means, but like I told Austin last inning on the air, starting to settle in, both sides are. Whether that was Santino Aranaga, the starting pitcher for the Spartans, here with Grayson Borkman as he gets Stevenson to swing and a miss for a strike 0-1. Or on the other end with Brock Lang, starting to just see guys settle in as the game progresses. Here's the 0-1, low out of the zone, ball 1. Stay tuned after the conclusion of this one. We'll have one-on-one with DP on the station. As the 1-ball, 1-strike approach is going to be a ball low and away, 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the visiting half of the 5th inning. Carroll started us off with a swinging strikeout, and then Blake McAndrews flew out to the center fielder for out number 2. But here you have Steventon working a 3-1 count against the pitcher for Lincoln East, Grayson Borkman. Wind, as you can hear it behind us, still blowing out to right field on a partly cloudy day at Warner. The 3-1 offering is in there for a strike, 3-2. First time this week that we've been able to see sunshine consistently here at Warner as it's worked itself behind the press box. However, no shadows on the field. Still up high enough. The 3-2 pitch swung on, hit well out to the shortstop, and Senstock lets it go between his legs, under his glove, and that is error number 2 on the day for Lincoln East defense, and the inning stays alive after a 2-out reached on an error by Joey Senstock, the future Husker and shortstop for the Lincoln East Spartans.
That was a routine one. Just didn't get that glove all the way down to the dirt. Maybe rushed it, trying to get it over to first. Stevenson doesn't run poorly, but Senstock, just a simple mental error that led to a physical one.
Some Husker baseball fans might remember this name, Jake Schleppenbach. That is what Senstock reminds me of. We talked about it, maybe a little bit more offensive ability than Schleppenbach was for the Husker baseball team, but that's kind of how I view Joey Senstock's game. Maybe I'm way off on that, Austin.
No, I see the outline. I see what you're going for, and I still think that, similar to Schleppenbach, it's middle infield profile.
As a ball and dirt read, and it was a bad ball and dirt read. Stevenson tried to swipe second base, and he gets thrown out by Worthley to end the inning. So that is a quick top of the 5th inning, by far the quickest half inning we've had so far this morning, as Millard South still trails 9-3 as we enter the bottom of the 5th inning here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Warner Park. Nick Standard, Austin Norman with you here in the bottom of the 5th inning. New arm on the bump for Millard South in the form of Jacob Allstat, a senior with a 2-1 record and a 3.50 earned run average. But Austin, for the most part, Brock Lane comes in, does the job, keeps Lincoln East at bay, and now we're going to get to see Jacob Allstat.
Different look lefty now from Millard South. Wasn't pretty for Lang, but effective. He threw the first scoreless inning of the day for the Patriots. It just feels like it's going to come down to the missed opportunities for Millard South here, Nick. They still have 6 outs to work with in this game. If you can hang another 0 for Lincoln East, your faint hopes are still flickering.
I just saw during the commercial break that former Husker pitcher Brett Sears got promoted in the last 24 hours from single A to double A in the Atlanta Braves organization. That's an arm Nebraska probably could use this year, in all honesty. Understand?
A guy that's a Big Ten Pitcher of the Year is a guy you like to have on your roster. Although didn't necessarily benefit Michigan State yesterday.
It did not.
It did for 6 innings.
It should have. It should have. Nebraska catches a nice break last night.
Michigan State drops a break last night.
Yeah, right. Drops a fly ball in right field, allows Nebraska to score the game-tying run. And then ultimately Robbie Bolin hits a walk-off base knock up the middle. A big swing and a miss by Troy Peltz to start the bottom of the 5th inning. Here's the pitch. Down Broadway, 0-2. Nebraska will now advance to Friday night's meaningful game against the Oregon Ducks. Oregon, the number 1 seed in the Big Ten standings. I have a feeling a lot of Husker fans will make the trip up to Omaha for that one.
You would think if they're not here at the state tournament, they would be downtown at the Chuck. But it's interesting, Nick, because I think it's an advantage for Oregon to play this meaningless game against Michigan State.
Yeah.
They get the rest, and they get a chance to knock the rust off.
Foul ball left side. We'll do it again at 1-2. I also think, it's interesting. You think about the options of baseball for viewing as a casual fan. You can come here on 3:30 on a Friday, watch Class B. You can even get here a little earlier if you want to take work off, as this one's poked through the left side for a base hit for Troy Peltz. That is his second hit of the day. He's going to try to leg it into a double. He will easily. And so Troy Peltz gets us going with a leadoff double. But what I was going to say is you have options. Obviously, the Class C state tournament here at Warner, the state championship, Class B at 3:30, and then Class A at 7 p.m. On top of that, you could go a little farther down the road and watch Big Ten baseball tournament action up there at Charles Schwab Field. So Troy Peltz leads things off with a leadoff double in the in the bottom of the 5th inning. Now the second hitter in the Lincoln East lineup, Jeter Worthley, comes to the plate. Worthley reached on an error back in the second. Other than that, he is 2 for 3, has 2 singles on the day, came around and scored back in that first inning, 6-run inning. As this one, a push bunt down the right side. First baseman fields it, goes over to first, is in time to get Jeter Worthley for out number 1.
Just barely. Worthley thought he made it in time. Stevenson took a quick peek to that runner at third base. Good job getting over to cover by the second baseman, Wick.
So 9-3 is your score here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Coming up to bat, it's now Joey Senstock. Senstock on the day, 0 for 3. He reached on an error back in the second. He struck out looking in the first and flew out to the right fielder in the third. Here's the pitch to Senstock. It goes low in the dirt, ball 1.
Run's been pretty hard to come by against Allstat this year, and Nick, up 9-3. Yeah, every run of cushion helps, but if you're Lincoln East, aren't you looking to drive that dagger in and try to extend the inning with a big one?
Here, base hit up the middle, through for a single, and that drives in Lincoln East's 10th run of the day. They now lead it 10-3 in the bottom of the 5th.
To my point, that probably scores Peltz. So, yeah, the free 90 feet makes it simpler to score him, but you just gave up and out when you're looking to get this game over with as early as possible.
Obviously, Lincoln East keeping the foot on the gas. When you talk about making sure you're at full strength for Friday's state championship game, Lincoln East trying to do so here as they will have only had to use a few pitchers this entire week. Here's the pitch from Allstat. It is low in the dirt, ball 1.
There's a very fine balance to that point, Nick, of if you can save arms, great, but you also got to make sure guys have handled the state tournament moment, that they get enough work.
Yeah.
You can get them warm in the bullpen, but there's nothing like the pressure pitches in the state tournament. So you want to use arms, but if you can keep them on that 0 to 1 days of rest schedule, sometimes that's beneficial.
Quick pick over to first base, back in plenty of time. Here's the pitch from Allstat, swung on and missed by the future South Dakota State Jackrabbit, Carter Harms. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's the pitch from Allstat. Breaking ball outside. Ball 2. We haven't really had any issues with staying on time throughout the state baseball tournament. However, today is going to be the first game that we experience that with. The 2-1 pitch. Inside, ball 3. Not every day do you score 10 runs in a baseball game.
we missed the longest game of the state tournament over at Tal Anderson Field.
That's right.
4+ hour, 12-inning marathon between Bennington and Gross.
4 hours and 14 minutes was the time of game on Monday. We were, as that's a ball 4, a 5-pitch walk to Carter Harms. Runners will be at first and second. We were out at Warner Park by 7:30 p.m. on Monday night on the day of the rolling schedule. Last night it was a little bit later, around 9:45 or so. But then for the folks over at the high school, they were out there a lot later, around 11:30 p.m. on Monday night. We have a pinch runner over there for Carter Harms. It's Dele Odulade.
You've already had your one re-entry. With
That was for Senstock, yes. So the first pitch from Allstat. And yes, one re-entry per player. So it's per player. So Harms will be able to re-enter. Dele Odulade occupies first. At second base, it's Senstock. And at the plate, it's Kalai Larson. Kalai Larson with an 0-1 count against him. The pitch in the dirt, 1-1. And it feels like Millard South, the wind starting to slowly be taken out of their sails. No ball, or rather 1 ball, 1 strike. If you're Jacob Allstat, just trying to put something across the plate, hope it generates some outs. Here's the pitch. Swung on, grounder, left side to shortstop. First to second for 1, on to first, not in time. So it'll be 6-4 for out number 2. They do not get the 3. And it will be 2 outs with runners on the corners here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So Kalai Larson reaches on a fielder's choice. Dele Odulade, one of the fastest guys on this East roster, is cut down at second on the 6-4 putout for out number 2. Moving up to third is Joey Senstock. 10-3 is your score. Allstat, the lefty, surrendered 1 run so far in this inning. Here's the pitch. And it's outside corner for a strike, 0-1. Carter McPeak is the man at the plate. McPeak, he reached on an error back in the first, had a sacrifice bunt in the second, lined out to the right fielder in the last inning in the 4th. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on and missed on a breaker that looked really good for Carter McPeak. It's 0-2.
Allstat's had pretty good command and control of those 2 pitches. He's way up in the count, 0-2. Already a run surrendered in this inning, another 190 feet away. Trying to get your team back to the dugout here.
If somehow McPeak scores, this game would be over via the mercy rule, but it's a strikeout instead. We go to the 6th inning. Your score, Lincoln East 10, Millard South 3 here at Warner Park on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Discovering your life's passion is easier with options, and that's what Doane offers students. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes you different. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Play ball! Pitch the perfect idea for a family outing or date night with tickets to the next Salt Dogs game. Nothing says summer fun like an action-packed evening at Haymarket Park. Come root for the home team with a hot dog and a cold drink. Plus, visit saltdogs.com to learn about special events and promotions, including group discounts. Don't miss out on the thrill and excitement of a Salt Dogs win. Visit saltdogs.com to reserve your tickets today.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It is the top of the 6th inning. Before we tell you about the new Spartans arm, Give to Lincoln Day is Thursday, May 29th. At 93.7 The Ticket, we're going to be out at Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach to help generate funds from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can give ahead at givetolincoln.com and make sure you choose Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach, located just north of 27th and Holdridge. The book is closed on Grayson Borkman. He goes an inning and a third, doesn't allow a single run, does strike out one Patriot hitter, and also walks one. To tell you about the new arm and the happenings in the 6th inning, here's Austin Norman.
Thank you, Nick. Trevor Roach on the bump now for Lincoln East. He wears number 9. The junior enters with a 2-0 record, 1 save on the year, and his earned run average would be a good batting average, .333. He has a pretty dramatic over-the-top delivery, missed up with a fastball, 1-0. Wick, the batter from Millard South, swings through a fastball again, 1-1. Good velocity from Roach out of the pen early in his outing. Wick, no official at bats, as he has walked twice. Stabs at a bunt and misses, now down to the count 1-2. Wick walked and scored in the 2nd inning, the only frame Patriots put up runs in. He walked and was thrown out stealing by a few steps to end the 3rd. Wick watches that one low, 2-2. Name of the game here for Millard South, extend it bats. Extend this game. Just stay alive. Roach is 2-2. Laced back up the middle on the ground, past a diving Senstock into center field, and Logan Wick aboard for the 3rd time today. He's got a leadoff single in the 6th. Not squared up necessarily, a pitch at the bottom of the zone, but Wick was on it. Timing-wise, he guided it through into center field. So now here comes the top of the lineup for Millard South for the 4th time today. Will Thomas, the lefty, playing center field. 0 for 2 today. He did walk and score in that 2nd inning. Pick over to first by Roach. Wick was ready for it. I wouldn't expect Millard South to be aggressive in the stolen base game. Taking the extra base on base hits, maybe. Thomas squares to bunt. That one misses low, 1-0. Yeah, you're down 7 runs, and runs are valuable, but you only got 6 outs left. The out is the most valuable commodity in baseball. Thomas waggles that bat as Roach comes set at his chest. Brings it home. Outside corner fastball, strike 1. Will Thomas hangs his head in dejection. He didn't like the call. Hasn't been a Sterling State tournament at the plate for him. Another pick over to first. Wick's back in time. Not sure I understand the infatuation with the runner at first, Nick.
Yeah, right now your main objective is to get outs, right? That runner at first, and then the next 7 do not matter.
Here's Thomas, lays down a good bunt. He beats it out at first. Well-placed bunt by Will Thomas. Third baseman Carter Harms got to it, but not in time to retire Thomas. So quickly, 2 on and nobody out for one of the most dangerous 2-3-4 combinations in the state. It's a bunt single for Thomas. He's at first. Wick is at second. Back-to-back singles leading off the top of the 6th. Here's Brady Parrish. Parrish 0 for 1 today. He has an RBI sac fly, so we have a meeting on the mound.
Great approach to the plate by Will Thomas. He understands his at-bat, as we just mentioned with the runner, his at-bat is not going to make up the 7 runs that Millard South is trailing by right now. He realized Carter Harms, the third baseman for Lincoln East, was 2 steps behind the bag, caught him sleeping a little bit over there, had a nice little bunt, good speed, good direction, and he was quick enough to beat it out.
Hit it hard enough to get it past Roach on the mound, but not hard enough to get to Harms in time for danger.
It was also fortunate for the Spartans. Nobody was covering third base. The runner at second, Logan Wick, could have swiped another 90 feet there, but fortunately for the Spartans, they were able to keep him at second.
Wick's the lead runner at first. Roach brings home first pitch of the at-bat to Parrish, who takes it for a strike, 0-1. Parrish, a high-average hitter, coming into the state tournament with a .470 batting average, 27 runs driven in as well. Roach is set. Brings it home to the lefty, Parrish. Check swing, didn't mean to do it. Now quickly behind 0-2. That was a high fastball that looked good. Parrish couldn't hold up. He fouled it back to the netting. So Trevor Roach, 2 singles to lead off the inning. Now 2 strikes to start the at-bat to Brady Parrish. Roach ready to bring it home. That one's shot foul off the netting down the third baseline. Will do it again, 0-2. We'll say it as long as Millard South is able to keep the inning going, stay alive, get the next man to the plate. That's the objective for every batter. Roach is 0-2. Just outside, 1-2.
I will say inning killers are a lot of, an easy way is base running mistakes. We haven't seen a lot of that in this entire state tournament. The one that comes to mind is last night with Elkhorn South and John Cotton getting doubled up at first base because he didn't tag. But other than that, been pretty strong on the base paths for the most part.
Roach tried the outside fastball again, didn't get the call, 2-2. You could argue Stevenson's bad ball dirt read wasn't great. Wick didn't get a great jump at first base on a stolen base attempt, but not boneheaded mistakes.
Yeah, those are too aggressive at times, right? I think there's a difference. And juncture of the game plays a factor into this too. Where are you at in the game? What's the score? What's the situation? But if you're being aggressive, it's almost okay to make a mistake, I guess, every now and then.
Here's the 2-2. Slap to third by Parrish. Harms digs it out. He'll go across the diamond, but throw it away. He got the lead runner for the first out. Wick is down, but Thomas moves up to third, and Parrish trots his way down to second base. So runners on second and third with 1 out for Jackson Apin. Half of a good play there by Harms. Nice, nifty pick, but the throw was wild.
Really frustrating there for Lincoln East. They could have had an easy double play there. Harms did not set his feet at all, did not make that throw, tried to throw off his back foot. Just been some lackadaisical plays. The Spartans are up by 7, and they're on their way to win this game, but they're fortunate that this isn't a much closer ball game because those types of things can lose you a game at this type of level.
Jackson Apin goes after the first pitch he sees, fouls it off. He's 2 for 2 with a single, an RBI single. He's also hit by a pitch. And with an open base here, Nick, as Apin fouls that one off same way, 0-2. Looks like it's in the process of working out for Lincoln East. I wouldn't have been mad at Michael Laning if he would have put Apin on first base, hot hitter, set up a force at every base, try to get an inning-ending double play. Here comes Roach's 0-2. Tried the breaking ball, didn't get on top of it, 1-2. But behind Apin is yet another dangerous hitter in Braden Swaney. That's platoon advantage, Millard South. Roach is 1-2. Apin threw the arms at it, but not the hands. He held up, 2-2. Aranaga had a unique delivery. Roach working out of the windup. Maybe not straight over the top, but not far from it. Number 9 kicks and delivers. Apin chased a ball up and out of the zone. That one was eye level. It's a strikeout for Roach, and a key one at that. Now 2 outs in the inning. That's a hero ball swing from Apin. Trying to do way too much. Roach gets the second out. His first pitch to Swaney. Up and out with the fastball, 1-0. Wick, Thomas, Parrish did a good job understanding that they couldn't win the game with one swing. Apin maybe got a little greedy. That one smacked on the ground on 2 hops to Larson. He'll take it himself for the final out of the top of the 6th. Millard South threatens, but is unable to bring runs across yet again. It's 10-3, Lincoln East leading. They'll have one more chance here at the plate, leading by a touchdown. Back with the bottom of the 6th next on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela. They let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit allofiber.com to switch today.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
7-8-9 due up for Lincoln East here in the home half of the sixth. If the Spartans get 3 runs, we will not bother with the seventh. Austin Norman, Nick Sainert with you. Lincoln East has had its chances to make this even worse than a 10-3 game. The Millard South has had its own chances to make it much closer. Leading off the sixth for Lincoln East, Brody McIntyre. 1 for 2, RBI single, ground out and a walk. Jackson Allstat back on the hill, misses up and out with the fastball. First pitch of the frame, 1-0. Lefty-righty matchup. Allstat's the lefty on the hill. He brings it home. That one cut on, fouled off the catcher and the umpire, 1-1. Nick, I'm going to appeal to your baseball eye here. It seems like Allstat's delivery, sometimes it takes him straight towards home plate. Other times he's really falling off toward that third base side of the field.
I also wonder how much in that pitcher's mound, how much it's beaten down in that same spot over and over. You can put so much dirt in it, and you can try to pound it and compress and compile as much of the dirt as you can. But, man, after that just continuously takes a beating, there's been a lot of pitchers thrown in this 10-3 ball game. You just wonder at times. They don't have a grounds crew that comes out in the middle of the innings that, reshapes it and is able to get it back to where it was at the start of the game.
McAndrews charges that one from McIntyre, shuffles his feet, throws across the diamond in time. There's the first out of the inning on a 6-3. Here's Lewis Cockle. Cockle delivered really the last major blow in the first inning. He had a 2 RBI double down the right field line. The wind kept pushing. Looks like we'll actually have a pinch hitter, my bad, for Lincoln East. Appears to be number 30, Bryson Rhodes. That it is. Rhodes is a sophomore, 10 for 40 this season. He's driven in 15 runs, gone deep twice. He takes one on the outer edge, called strike 1. Rhodes a righty. Young guy again, sophomore. He chases that one, fouls it off, 0-2. Good opportunities here for Lincoln East to get some young guys, some at-bats in the state tournament. Certainly a program that expects to be here annually. Allstat delivers. Rhodes better timing on that one, but just under, 0-2 again. On Lincoln East's roster, Larson is a sophomore. Rhodes a sophomore. Cruz Wavra a sophomore. Brady Hannes, who we've seen a sophomore, as Rhodes fights off another one. Still 0-2. And then one freshman on the roster, Braden Erickson. Hadn't seen much playing time, but not a lot of sophomores, even fewer freshmen here at this state tournament in Class A. Allstat spots up, just missed off the outside corner, 1-2.
You're okay with that miss. That's a competitive miss there.
Credit Rhodes for good batter's eye as well, watching it off the plate. Allstat set at the belt. He'll kick and deliver. Breaking ball missed high, 2-2.
You know what we haven't had this morning yet, Austin?
Popcorn.
That's right, the smell of popcorn. It feels like something's missing from the ball game.
Allstat's 2-2, shot down the right field line, twisting into the seats. We'll do it again, 2-2. Were you actually going to say popcorn, or did I put words
I was.
in your mouth?
No, you're absolutely right. It was going to be the smell of popcorn. We have not had it yet. Maybe the wind blowing away from the press box is the culprit and the thief of the popcorn smell.
The thief of our joy.
Yeah.
3-2 as Allstat misses with a fastball. We also haven't been downstairs to the concourse yet. Maybe they haven't fired up the popcorn machine. Maybe that's an afternoon treat.
I'll have to have a conversation if they didn't. They had it going at 10 a.m. yesterday. It is a morning, afternoon, and night treat.
I would agree. Allstat fouls it back. Sorry, that's Allstat has it fouled back by Rhodes. So full count yet again with one away. Bottom of the 6th. Rhodes gets under that one. He skies it to the right side. Stevenson drifts into foul territory. Now takes a step back toward fair territory, but on the foul side of the line, he squeezes the pop-up for the second out of the frame. Good at bat by Bryson Rhodes, but it doesn't result in anything.
Nice try by Allstat here, settling in for Millard South, but it appears they might bring in a new arm for one more out. Jacob Allstat, the senior, may have just thrown his last pitch in the Millard South Patriots uniform, as we are going to have a new pitcher here.
Hopefully the
Allstat is going to be pitching on for Northwest Missouri State after his career with Millard South.
Allstat gives a fist bump to his replacement.
It's going to be number 10, Tate Williams.
Tate Williams, also a senior. Standing ovation, good crowd on hand for Millard South as Allstat trudges to the dugout for the final time as a Patriot.
Tate Williams going to be a Doane University member. Doane Tiger. That's what I was looking for.
You got there eventually.
I did, eventually. I mean, you look at this Millard South team, and as he warms up here, we can keep it here. Will Thomas, Northwest Missouri State. Roy Stevenson, University of Sioux Falls. Jacob Allstat, Northwest Missouri State. Logan Schwab, who we haven't even seen yet, is going to Kansas Westland. Tyler Albert, Wayne State. Brock Lang, Briar Cliff. Tate Williams, who's on the mound now, Doane. Carson Durr, the catcher, is going to be an Omaha Maverick. Brennan Fulner is going to Doane. This is the type of talent that is here at the state tournament just on one team. Mm-hmm. And I don't think enough people realize or know.
Because a lot of people would say, well, if they're not going D1, if they're not going high major,
and sure.
And those are certainly the easier ones to track. But some of those names you mentioned, Nick, Fulner we haven't seen, Schwab is backing up Durr, other guys up and down the list that are projectable arms, are projectable talents. They just haven't had the at-bat because of the talent in front of them. It's kind of like in college, a guy that hits the transfer portal after a year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's still a good player in a lot of cases, just a better player in front of him.
Both of these teams are sending 9 players to college at the conclusion of this season. 9 each. 18 total on this field right now.
2 away for Tate Williams, whose first pitch is a fastball in for a strike to Tanner Peterson.
And 9 is not the most for a single team. There are 2 teams that are sending more than 9 in the Class A state baseball bracket.
And in case you forget, there are only 9 players on the field at a time. Maybe 10 in the lineup if you count the DH. Williams breaker misses 1-1. I know we'll keep talking about it throughout the course of the tournament, but baseball keeps growing, producing a lot of talent for a lot of programs, not just within the 500-mile radius, right? You mentioned St. Thomas. There's a guy we saw last night going to Vermont, you said?
Mm-hmm. Middlebury College.
Middlebury, thank you.
Middlebury College out in Vermont.
Oklahoma State close to, if not quite in that 500-mile radius for Danny Wallace. Williams misses low with a breaking ball again. He's now down in count 3-1. He's behind Tanner Peterson, who is 0 for 3 so far today. Righty-righty matchup. Williams brings it home. Peterson skies that one in the air, drifting toward the triangle. That lands fair just inside the foul line. Landed between Stevenson, Wick, and Swaney. Swaney probably had the best chance to get that, but the wind kept pushing it further and further toward the line. Hung up there, but not long enough to make the catch. So Troy Pelch will stride to the plate here in the 6th for his 1st or 5th at-bat of the day. Not very often you get 5 at-bats in a game. Means there's been a lot of offense, but not enough to get the game over with early. Peltz led off the game for Lincoln East with a solo home run down the right field line. He goes after the first pitch, fouls it off the netting. This Lincoln East fan was slightly more aware of the proceedings, bounced off the dugout right to him. Nick, the home run from Peltz, obviously impressive in its own right, but it came at a good time for Lincoln East. After Aranaga loaded the bases, worked out of it without giving up, any runs, and then Lincoln East responds in a big way immediately. It was the first run of 6 in the inning. Nick's got a chance.
It was 3 windows over. That's a shame.
We are still waiting. We're still waiting. It's right there.
That would have been good height too. I would have had to reach out the window, but it's I
Peltz down
Come
in
on,
the count,
Troy.
0-2.
Send us another one. Nope.
He sends another one to right field. Swaney gives it a look, twisting,
watch out.
just foul. Nick Sainer doing more communicating about the proximity of the wall than his teammates were.
I'm going to be honest. We saw last year a young man dive into the bleachers. You're not going to have that this year because of the nets that Major League Baseball required all minor and major league ballparks to extend all the way down to the foul poles. But when you don't know how this field plays, you don't know the dimensions, you're uncomfortable with it, it's a little nerve-wracking when you see him start to trend towards that wall.
Peltz smacks a single to right field. Peterson's going to take the turnaround second, cruise into third. That is the third hit of the day for Troy Peltz. He will not get a chance to go for the cycle because Lincoln East would have crossed the magical 10-run threshold. But nevertheless, a solid day at the plate for number 27. Runners on the corners, 2 away. Here's Jeter Worthley. Worthley, couple of singles, reached on an error, and has laid down a sacrifice bunt. Tate Williams brought in with 2 outs in this frame, hasn't retired a batter yet. Williams looks at Worthley. Breaking ball led her high, 1-0. I will say, Nick, the netting that extends down the line, I wasn't a fan of it initially because there's just something so cool about foul balls, right? You want those opportunities for fans, especially little kids that, they get so excited they go off the walls for it. But the types of foul balls that the netting was designed to prevent, the hard line shots, the hard bouncers, and there's still plenty of opportunities for foul balls. Players are still pretty darn good at flipping the ball to kids over the netting. There's one flare down the right field line. Again, it will fall harmlessly, but it's foul. 2-1 now on Worthley. So it's just kind of a purist of the experience, the environment, the chance at foul balls. I wasn't a fan of it, but you don't notice it.
No, and that's the thing is,
it's just kind of there. It does its job, takes the danger out, but you still get all the fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather, if a foul ball is coming my way, I'd much rather it be in the form of a fly ball than a line drive hit 105 off the bat. So I'm okay with the nets.
Peltz just got back to first just in time. Or do we have a runner over there that is Peltz?
Well, it's number 7. He's wearing the 7 jersey.
Okay, I thought so.
There is no 7 on the roster.
I saw 7. I wonder if I couldn't see the 2, but no, it is.
It's tough for us to talk about him when we don't have him on the roster, unfortunately.
There's a line drive off the bat of Worthley, sends Thomas back into his left, but he circles around it. He makes the catch, and Lincoln East is scoreless in the 6th. We go to the 7th. The Millard South Patriots need 7 runs before 3 outs to keep playing. We'll see if they can get it done after this on 93.7 The Ticket.
Spring has arrived, the temperatures are rising, and it's time to get your equipment ready for the season. Landmark Implement has high-quality used John Deere planters, sprayers, and tractors, priced to move and ready to work for you. Take advantage of unbeatable deals and flexible financing to upgrade your operation without stretching your budget. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or browse our full inventory online at landmarkimp.com. Before these deals are done, experience the Landmark difference.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here for the top of the 7th inning, it'll be Trevor Roach on the mound. Looks like Hudson Morrow is the catcher, number 19 for Lincoln East. So Jeter Worthley's day is done. Millard South trails by a touchdown. It's a defensive football game, but a rather offensive baseball game. 10-3. I'm Austin Norman, but with the 7th inning, Nick Sainer.
Thank you, Austin. Appreciate you guys hanging on with us for this one. We'll have local programming for about an hour following the conclusion of this game here, and then we will bring it back out for what, unless barring a miracle in favor of Millard South, it'll be Elkhorn South and Millard North. Carson Durr will be the first hitter up for Millard South in the top of the 7th inning, with the Patriots trailing by 7. Carson Durr, the future Omaha Maverick, facing Roach, swings and pops this one shallow right side. Will the first baseman Larson get there? He will not, and we will do it at 0-1. The ballpark held it, but the wind kept pushing that closer and closer towards that Millard South dugout, and Kalai Larson over there at first base unable to get over for the foul put out. So now no balls, 1 strike, nobody out here in the top of the 7th inning.
Pinch hitter on deck for Noah Carroll. Looks like he'll be 25, Caden Pennings.
Here's the 0-1 to Durr. Upstairs, ball 1.
Unfortunate for Carroll, he struck out 3 times. The first 2 were pretty killer. Straight to the bases loaded.
1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Upstairs again, 2-1. Another guy we forgot to mention last year, there was so much talk about guys like Nick Van Tyker, Tyson Lewis, and Cale Fountain at the Class B level that we forgot to mention Michael Mechna that pitched for Elkhorn South and continued his career at Oregon. He's appeared just a few times for the Oregon Ducks, but he makes his return to Omaha this week, rather.
As a Big Ten regular season champion.
That's right. Elkhorn South pitcher Michael Mechna, now Oregon Duck, not Omaha Duck, because this one's popped out to right field. The right fielder races over and is able to make the catch for out number 1 here in the top of the 7th inning as Carson Durr is retired. So that'll now bring up, as Austin said, number 25, Caden Pennings. Number 25, the 304 hitter on the year, a junior, 14 hits and 46 at-bats, has driven in 9 runs, but nobody's out there to drive in. Bases are empty as he now gets plunked on the first pitch. First pitch of the at-bat to Pennings. He gets plunked, and he'll take first base. So now, stepping into the box, the shortstop, Blake McAndrews. McAndrews has had to grow up quick here in this Millard South program. He took over shortstop for Brody Gindra, who's now at Elkhorn South, who we'll see later. But he's a sophomore, strong arm. The bat has been there at times, but
developing.
Yeah, developing for sure. The mental IQ side of it developing as well as a sophomore. We saw that in the early innings of this one, just some mental lapses. No balls, 1 strike after he fouls the first pitch off from Roach. The 0-1 offering on the way. Swung on, hit well over the left side, and it's into left field for a base hit. So Millard South has runners on first and second with 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning, still trailing by 7 runs.
Station to station is what Millard South's going to have to do if they want to keep it alive.
So now that brings up Roy Steventon. Steventon on the day is 0 for 3. He reached on an error back in the 5th inning, but was caught stealing on a bad ball and dirt read. And he was able to experience Jeter Worthley's arm on the throw down to second firsthand. 1 out in the top of the 7th inning after the leadoff hitter Carson Durr was retired. The first pitch of the at-bat is going to be blooped out to shallow right center field. The second baseman McIntyre ranges over and makes the catch for out number 2. So now Millard South down to their final out in this one. Lincoln East is 1 out away from reaching the state championship game for the 3rd consecutive year. Here is Logan Wick. Wick, the second baseman for Millard South, the 9-hole hitter in the Patriots lineup. Roach is on the mound. Wick is in the box. Runners on first and second for Millard South. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, skied high. This could do it as the right fielder races back close to the warning track. He has it in time for out number 3. Carter McPeak makes the catch, and Lincoln East will play for the Class A state championship Friday night at 7 p.m. after a dominating, convincing, and comfortable 10-3 victory over the Millard South Patriots. Austin, we're going to get out of here relatively quickly here. Final thoughts on the 10-3 finish.
Yeah, it was really only comfortable in the late going over the last handful of innings. Millard South loaded the bases in the first, didn't come away with anything. Lincoln East says, thank you very much. We worked our way out of this. You gave us a gift, and Lincoln East pounced on that momentum, put up a 6 spot. Millard South got 3 back. The mark of a great team, though, Nick, the response. Lincoln East puts up 2 in the second, strands the bases loaded again in the third, tacks one on, and they were really in cruise control from there.
It wasn't a great start on the mound for either side, but Lincoln East, they get it done in a collective effort. Roach closes it out. Borkman was in the middle innings, and Aranaga started us off on the bump for the Lincoln East Spartans. But Lincoln East, a 6 spot in the first inning, and they rode that the rest of the way with some help. And like Austin said, the second, third, and fifth with some runs in those innings as well. They defeat the Millard South Patriots 10-3 here at Warner Park. So Lincoln East will avoid having to play a second game today. Millard South season is done. Lincoln East will play at 7 p.m. on Friday night for the Class A state championship game. The question now remains, against who? Will it be the Millard North Mustangs or the Elkhorn South Storm? That game will start in a little over 1 hour's time, and we'll have that here on 93.7 The Ticket. For Austin Norman, Nick Sanders, a big thanks to Jackson Kleinschmidt back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios. We'll send it back to Lincoln for the next hour or so before bringing it back out to Warner here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door